There we go. All right, hey everybody. Hope you guys have all been having a pretty good day. You guys can see Loki drumming along over here. A lot to talk about today. Most of the stream is pretty much going to go to the State of the Union address because I do want to see what Joe Biden has to say, and if we have time, what the Republicans' rebuttal is also going to be as well here. So we're going to chill, have some fun, just kind of talk about the markets for a little bit. Then, once this thing gets rolling, we'll be here to kind of talk about Joe Biden, Republicans, this debt ceiling stuff we're going to have to talk about as well. But for now, guys, hope you guys are doing well. Bitcoin's kind of been on a tear here. And Loki's over here saying hello again. Hello. There you go. He'll probably be around every now and again, okay? Okay, buddy, let me do something very fast here. Because at this point, we're just going to be waiting for that speech to start here in about an hour, I think, or so. But I do want to talk a little bit here about the market. So what I may actually end up doing is this. Go back over here very fast. Let's go over here and change this up. Do that. Go over here. Doc. There we go. Okay. There we go here. And let me make one last little touch here, guys. And I think I got it. We're going to just find this one thumbnail I'm looking for. There we go. Okay. Change some stuff up very fast. But yeah, so far, guys, the market's been looking okay. As far as I'm concerned, let me hop out of the full screen here. Go over to the daily chart. Let's get rid of some of these technical analyses over here. We're still kind of bunching up against some levels of resistance, but we managed to close back up above that 20-day moving average, and that's really what you guys want to be looking for right now, just to show us a little bit more strength. Now, my concern is that we did show weakness by just breaking down below it, so I'm hoping that anything that Joe Biden has to say or anything else that comes out as far as the news is concerned this week, it's going to allow us to pump up a little bit higher here, because at this point in time, definitely not seeing the best movement from Bitcoin besides the fact that we're managing to hold, which is like the key point at this part. Going back over here to the weekly chart, I can turn this off for a little bit. Oh, there we go. This death cross is still going to be concerning me, but again, we'll have to wait and see how bad this really wants to work out. I'm hoping that this golden cross here between the 50-day moving average and the 200 is going to be what ends up pushing Bitcoin up to potentially $25,000, since it looks like the overall stock market here isn't really looking at a whole bunch of bad stuff, okay? But we'll have to see. And hey, Ken, hey, Alec, hope you guys are doing well. Right now, we're just going to be talking about Bitcoin, but I'm guessing in like the next half an hour or so, we're going to be going over towards the State of the Union address and just kind of watching that to see what Joe Biden has to say. And if it allows me to, I'm going to try to find a way to hear the Republican rebuttal as well. I think Sarah Huckabee Sanders is also giving that, so it should be interesting. I guess the contrast I heard them making today while I was watching like CNN for a little bit and Fox News for a little bit, was that, Joe Biden's the oldest president, I guess, in history. I didn't know that. And I guess that Sarah Huckabee Sanders is like the youngest governor serving right now. So they're trying to draw, and she's a woman, so they're trying to draw that comparison. It'll be interesting to see how it all works out. But I hope you guys are both doing well. Hell in a handbasket. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what people really have to say about that. I'm hoping the country doesn't get too much worse here. Loki brought me a ball to throw. There you go. It's fine over there. I'm going to change something up very fast. I don't really know how many people are going to watch the stream right now because let me do this very fast. Because it's more of a State of the Union type of thing, and you guys can always watch that at home. So if you guys just want to chill and ask me any questions, let me know. One of the things I wanted to do today, just for fun, is not go to Bing X, but just actually go to Bing. Did you guys hear what Bing's been up to today? The all-new Bing. I guess you could ask it questions, and it goes more like ChatGPT now, except for instead of being capped at 2021, now it goes to 2022 and 2023 as well. Is this the new update of Bing. No, I don't know how to use it. I don't know how to use it. Launches the new Bing. Let me see. New Bing, yeah, with limited capabilities. Oh, limited capabilities. How do I use the new Bing though? Introduce the new Bing. Learn more. How do I do this? Oh, join the wait list. What? What? Yes. I'm on the wait list. Access the new Bing even faster. Oh, so it wants me to default it. Oh, they're going after Google. Add extension. Okay, so it looks like you can't use the new Bing yet. Just now, I guess. I'll have to look for that. I'll have to figure out how to use that. Have you guys actually had any chance to use the new Bing? Yeah, because I was looking on Twitter and I saw a whole bunch of stuff on it, but I guess let's go over here real fast. If I just go over here to explore, yeah, it's right down here, number 7, technology, probably leading in technology. But I guess the new Bing just dropped. But yeah, how do you use it? So they typed this into Bing, and this something popped out. Okay, let's go here. So you can't use it yet. Okay, so all of us normies out here, we can't use it yet. I need to figure out a way to get access to it, but I'm no tech influencer, so that's going to be kind of hard. Nah. There we go, over here. There we go. Oh, hey, Max Parra, happy to see you back. And hey, Kevin, thanks for dropping all of your indicator videos. Yeah, no worries, guys. I've been having a lot of fun with them. They've been pretty chill so far. I'm going to be doing more and more. There's a video I'm doing, I think, later tonight that's going to be based off of the Smart Money Concepts one by Lux Algo, which will be pretty fun for me to talk to you guys about. But I am trying to practice and do more videos like that. And my goal while I'm doing all these videos is pretty much testing to see how people like them and what it's going to take for YouTube to push them out. Because I feel like YouTube doesn't necessarily like to push out too much of my crypto content. So what I'm doing now is kind of moving a little bit with these videos to general educational technical analysis, less crypto-y, at least on these videos. I still stream crypto most nights. And then from there, I'm hoping that I can get my average view duration for these videos to be very, I don't want to see people click on the video, then stop watching within the first few seconds. YouTube recognizes that. So if I were to go over here, I think I have YouTube popped open. Audience, is this how you do it? Let me find a video that I just did a couple days for you guys. Yeah, so here's one I said. I cracked the code. It's still getting a little bit of traffic right now, but not a lot. I can zoom in here for you guys as well. It's earned me $3. Again, the money is not really the issue here, but if I get more views, actually money should be a nice little addition there. But I'm still getting steady views from YouTube search, which is really cool. I like that. But basically, this video is getting views slowly, and I'm hoping that the graph, like the chart, picks up over time. But you see how people click on it, and it kind of slowly goes down. I have other videos that are a little bit longer than 4 minutes, and people click on it, and they drop. Like a lot of people leave in the first few minutes, and everybody else kind of stays and watches the tutorial and kind of learns how to do it. So relative audience retention, it's still pretty high. It's not bad. Well, this is actually a pretty decent video. But I'm trying my best to make sure that you guys are engaged throughout the whole video. That way, you guys are learning throughout the whole video. Other videos aren't necessarily as good as far as AVD is concerned, so I'm working on that bit by bit. But I am pretty excited to see how this works out. Like, this is what they typed in. Let me get rid of this over here so I can actually see your guys' comments. Oh, I zoomed in on a whole bunch of other crap while I was doing that. Gather the results of who won the Grammys last weekend and compare them with the last 3 years. Create a table summarizing the results. And it did all this just with that command. I think Bing is going to go crazy, and I think Bing is now a serious competitor to Google. And this has made me want to invest even more money in Microsoft for the long term only. because Bing, they have their own. Google has their own AI service coming out, I think, pretty soon as well. But I mean, Chat AI or Chat GPT just seems to be miles ahead of it so far. So, Google Chat Bot. Oh, I am not in the right spot. Microsoft Bing search for Chrome extension has changed to use Bing.com. I'm gonna keep it. Google's not gonna be happy with me. So what's their new name? Bard. Bard is the new name that they're gonna be having here. So they're gonna try to do something similar, but I just don't know if it's gonna be the same as ChatGPT. I love ChatGPT, guys. It has been an immense help, and it can really explain a lot of things that you guys may need help with. But from like a way that you can make money off of it, or where businesses will make money off of it, imagine this. Imagine that it's listening to your guys' conversation and it's taking notes off of it. Imagine that you guys are going through emails and you ask it to go through your Google emails and or your Bing emails, Microsoft emails, probably Google will have something similar, and basically it'll take down notes and it'll kind of help you keep everything organized. It takes a lot of the redundant work that nobody really likes to do away, and it just makes your whole workflow a lot more streamlined, which means that maybe people will have a little bit more extra time in their day-to-day life, which would be kind of cool. Or corporations will work their people even harder, knowing that they have that extra time, so they may be given more work. I'm probably guessing the latter, but you never know. There's going to be a lag time when they realize that, hey, they're not working as much. Maybe I can give them a little bit extra work. You'll see they'll measure the productivity, so probably like a year or something before people get a lot more work out there. But I think this is just going to be a massive game changer out there right now. Like people are talking about it all different ways here. Let me get out of this one. But let me go over here very fast. Yeah, here's the new demo.
We've just updated Edge with a new look and feel and new AI capabilities. As you can see here, it's sleeker, it's lighter. And you're going to notice now that we've integrated Bing in a really cool new way. Let me show you. Here I am on the Gap website. I'm browsing around in my new Edge browser, and I want to read Gap's quarterly report. So I can navigate down to their earnings, click on Q3, and up comes the 15-page Gap PDF. It's pretty long. I won't have time to read all that. What I would love is a summary of the key points. I want to show you how now with the power of AI capabilities within Edge, we can help. With one click, I can open up the sidebar. And now as you can see at the top of the window, we have two features. We have Chat and Compose. Let me show you how Chat works. I can use Chat in Edge to simply ask it to give me the key takeaways of the page I'm on. So I'll just say key takeaways from the page, and Bing and AI can now read that PDF. And look how great. It comes up with the summary of the key points here.
I'm buying a lot of Microsoft.
It's going to reaffirm full year guidance.
I'm totally buying so much Microsoft. This is insane. Like, Bing has been the butt of jokes for years, and all of a sudden, here comes Mr. Competition, and they're going to go crazy with it. You saw how fast that was? So, like, when I get this, I'm going to be using it for the channel all the time. And I'm going to be maybe able to do some longer term or some videos about like quarterly earnings, yearly earnings, and breaking everything down so you can see the health of a company. I may give it an A, B, C, or D, or E, whatever, F, whatever. And I think that'd be great. I mean, just, you got to understand how crazy this is. Maybe I'm a little nerdy about it, but this is some powerful stuff. And this is why Google is going into freak out mode and trying to create Barb and trying to get them launched out as fast as possible. Because I'm sure they've been working on this for a while, but now that ChatGPT has already been bought out by Microsoft, they have to play a little bit of catch up here. And normally Bing has been trying to catch up to Google for like a decade plus, So all of a sudden the dynamics are changing. So personally, I'm not saying you guys have to do this because I still think the market's going to have a turnaround here. But when I think of my dollar cost averaging and stuff like that, I'm probably going to take a little bit out of Google and a little bit out of Apple and put both of that into add even more to what I was actually already buying from Microsoft. So for me, Microsoft is something I'm really excited about over the next few years now. I mean, decades technically, but especially the next few years here, guys. Let me move some stuff over here so I can see what you guys are chatting about. I'm still getting used to this new system here as far as me having the green screen on. And hey, Max Power, happy to see you again. I know I already said that, but I want to make sure. Cost of bar shares for AMC was 380% today. Whoa, that is a lot. Wow. And hey, Sivas, always happy to help you out, my man. Or Siva, yeah, Sivas, always happy to help you guys out. I will be doing more and more videos. I was just talking with Babyfish today, and I'm going to be doing 2 tutorials, 2 courses. I'm going to do a 2-hour course for you guys on YouTube that's going to be free, and members and everybody that kind of watches the channel normally. Like, you could just come here for a couple days, and like for a week after I finish the course and publish it to be sold, I'm going to give you guys all free coupons. But after those 2 weeks, so it's like, people that don't come every day, but they come every now and again, they'll be able to get free link to the course or a free coupon for the course. Each one of you guys will have your own separate code, I believe. Well, I'm not entirely sure. I'll turn off the code after the 2 weeks. That's probably better. But then after that 2 weeks is over, it'll go back up to like $200 or $300. I think $200, maybe $250 or something. $249.99 is what I'm thinking about now, because I didn't realize it was gonna be like 50 hours. But I am excited to get really going on this course, though. I haven't had a chance to work on it too much over the last few days. All I have is the intro video and the course overview, which I posted this morning. Not many people watch the course overview, but it was a very boring video. It's just basically breaking down a lot of the topics we're going to be talking about. But I want to say this weekend, starting Saturday, I'm going to spend all of Saturday, take a break in the middle of the day to go to the dog park with Loki. But the majority of my Saturday is going to be starting off explaining what stocks, options, and cryptocurrencies are. And really, it's probably all of Saturday is probably only going to be breaking down stocks. Not technical analysis with stocks, but understanding the core concepts behind them and, some of those simple things. So it'll be interesting. But I'm really excited to get all that done. It's just going to take a long time. So I'll be giving up my Saturday for that. Besides, with that, excluding taking Loki out to the dog parks, which should be pretty fun. Have I thought about using AI to help me trade? Hey, Kevin, not really. I mean, as far as AI for trading, what I normally do is use tools and indicators and stuff like that. I mean, the closest thing I think of when it comes to AI is usually community scripts on TradingView. That's one of the main reasons I would ever tell people to actually go for premium on TradingView, is because you get access to some premium scripts. So if I go over here, I'm making a bunch of tutorials, so you see my charts are still kind of messed up, and normally this might be like, they might look more like this, right? And this might look a little bit smaller and look like that. I might also have something like a super trend or maybe a whole suite here. Maybe I could take away the whole suite, actually just leave on the super trend. When you get a buy signal, although I'm missing something on the bottom here. No, I'm not missing. I'm just replace this with this. Okay. But yeah, so I use a lot of scripts. So if you guys go over here to the indicators tab, indicators, metrics, and strategies, I keep on saying through all these videos. If you go down here to community scripts, you just don't go to your favorites tab. There's a whole bunch of scripts over here. A lot of these are free. If you go to the top ones, most of them are free, I think, as well. There are a few out here that are like locked. You're not going to be able to get those. You have to pay for Lux Algo, but Lux Algo has free ones over here as well. Lazy Bear has a bunch. I think certain ones are blocked by premium. I don't think I see that they're blocked because I am premium member. But I think if I just clicked on one of Lazy Bears, let's go to the squeeze momentum indicator, which is the one you guys are seeing right here, right there. And I just clicked on this little button right there, right? Read more. He's a wizard. I don't see premium on here, so I don't think it would actually be a problem. I think this is all free for you guys. I've been trying to find ones that are free. But if you guys wanted to, you could just click on Lazy Bear right here. Oh, I don't want to do that. I want to open the new tab. There you go. And you can see all of his scripts, right? So ideas. So this is his ideas of where things may be going. Streams. If he's done any streams, no streams. Not many people on TradingView do streams because there's not really any money to do it. There's no incentive. Scripts. Look at this. He has a bunch of scripts out here, a lot, and you can see all access, open, protected, invite only. You just usually want to go to open, and then from here, decision point volumes, Swinlin, trading oscillator by Lazy Bear. He pretty much goes off of divergences for this one. Decision point breadth Swinlin trading oscillator, again doing divergences on this one. And he has a whole bunch of them, a whole bunch of them. The next one I'm doing with you guys, I believe, is one by Chris Moody. And the one by Chris Moody is going to be not find market bottoms, although I should do one on that as well. Here it is. CM. Oh, I don't have it starred. That's why. Chris Moody, Ultimate Moving Average, version 2. I'm learning how to use this right now. I've already learned how to use it technically, but I want to practice a little bit more and do a little bit of back testing before I actually talk to you guys about it. This one's pretty interesting though, because if I get rid of this for now, if I get rid of that, if I get rid of that as well, I want to get rid of that, all the moving average as well. Okay, and this is basically like a 20-day moving average, or 20 SMA, if you will. But you can see basically when we're down below it, kind of turns a little bit more red, or it has this like reddish signal here at certain points. Green right here, kind of like, hey, this is a good opportunity to buy. Look at that, it went up. Hey, this is a good opportunity to short up here, probably right here, and hey, it went down. Not the best one actually right here, to be honest. But you can see we actually had a breakdown. I think that was part of the reason here. But you can actually go in here, go to settings, and really tinker around with a lot of this stuff. A lot of it has to do with moving averages, using different time frame. We're using the daily chart. Normally I would just keep it at chart, but some people like to trade the 4-hour off the daily charts or something like that. I'll leave it back here for daily just for now. And basically you see how this is a line here, or a moving average, right? Well, you can change the type of moving average it is, but you have to do it through the indicator right here in the settings tab. So 1 here is SMA, 2 is EMA, 3 is weighted moving average, 4 is whole moving average, 5 is volume weighted moving average, 6 is RMA, then 7 you got the TEMA, 8 you got the Tilson 3. And so, I could change this maybe to 8. You guys can see the Tilson right here. So that's just a little bit difference of the indicator right there. I normally keep it at 1, but you can go through them. So this is 1. 2 is a little bit different, or maybe I should do it like this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right? Now, there's different ways to use them, and you have to learn that yourself here. But basically, I want to have a second moving off average bar here. I think he just did it to separate it out a little bit as far as the lines, because you can see this is a dotted line. I never use dotted lines for moving averages. It freaks me out. My brain doesn't like it. So I'll be, taking that off here. Go on style. You see right here, it's just do it line. But now it can be hard to tell the difference. So you kind of have to go in here and change the colors. You can change the inputs a little bit more. Sometimes you want to have, a setting of 1 for smoothing or 2. I'd probably have a 3 there. But I mean, you can mess around with this a lot, and I'll kind of walk you through all the settings here. But it could be pretty fun to use this as well. But it takes some time to really learn how to use all this stuff, which is why I'm taking the time to really understand it. I just sent an email today to Lux Algo asking them if they'd be willing to take a call with me so I can really do a deep dive and learn some of their indicators, because I'm hoping that for each indicator that they have videos on their website, or their but I always see people asking questions like, I didn't understand this, I didn't understand that. If I can make an hour-long video going through step-by-step of each of their indicators. So for that indicator, spend a whole hour explaining every single thing. So that means, SMA, EMA, what that does, in detail, but I have to understand it from their point of view of what's going on. Otherwise, I could just be talking out of my ass, and I don't want to talk out of my ass. That's why I don't do videos that are like 20, 30 minutes long unless I'm giving you like detailed information the entire time. Because there comes a point where I'm just like going to be blabbering on because I don't know. I want to know, right? So, but yeah, I've been doing a lot of these indicators here and testing a lot of them. But I mean, here, this is community scripts. There's a lot of them. Of course, if you go to the top, these are the most popular ones. For good reason. People like them more. They're probably easier for new investors. There's a lot of YouTube videos on these. It's primarily because there's a lot of YouTube videos on these, honestly, but they're also very good. They're simple enough to understand if you guys haven't seen them before. I got a lot of videos. If you guys haven't seen some of the videos I've been posting over the past few days, feel free to check them out, okay? We also have about 37 minutes until the State of the Union. Once that kind of kicks off, I will not be talking. My head will be here, actually. I'll be still here. But we'll just be listening to Joe Biden, and then after that, we'll be looking at Sarah Huckabee Sanders for the Republican response, if we can. I hope that they play both back to back. But there's like, if we go down here, what's something that I'd probably use? Okay, auto pitchfork, fib retracement, and zigzag. Now these ones are a little bit more complicated because you do have to change the settings around a little bit, But let me get rid of all the technical analysis here. Let's see. Oh Jesus! I mean, like, okay, hold on. Let me just get rid of this trinket. I don't want to actually do all the work to put it back on. You can see how that pitchfork really isn't going in the right direction for us right now. I want to see what the pitchfork is doing over there, basically. So you could always go over here and tinker with the settings, basically. I'd probably want to do a shift model here. Is it update? Yeah, shift model is a little bit better for me. Motive shift is probably even better than that sometimes, but I think for this one, just because you want it to be up more, you want the shift inside is going to be like a, yeah, so. Actually, that wasn't too bad. Actually, inside wasn't too bad at all this time. Pitchfork levels prices, that's fine. Small, normal. No, it doesn't matter. Extend pitchforks lines, no. Do we need more pitchforks lines? No. Okay, do 2 pitchforks? There we go. Okay, there we go. Okay, so for this one, see, I don't like it. See, so like you could go and test it out, but then pretty fast you can be like, I really don't like this. So what I would do in this circumstance is get rid of it. And then from here, I would probably try to look more longer term, go to a weekly chart and see what's going on. Are there any pitchforks I have to worry about? And I would just try to do it by hand. That's me. But if you want to take the time and you're only going to be trading a few stocks or a few crypto assets and stuff like that, well, then you might just be, what do you call it? Then you just might have it set up to auto, but you have a good idea of what it's looking for. Because once you kind of have, like if you have a weekly chart or a daily chart, it's not going to change too much once you have it set the way you like. But that's why I'm just like, I don't want that one. I just want regular pitchfork. I can change it up a little bit, right? I can go here. I can do there. Change it up. And I can be like, okay, maybe this is an opportunity for me to see. Probably would go from here to here, honestly. But, I'm just trying to show you guys something here. Let's see the resistance level there. Probably right here. You can see a little bit of support level. See the support of the resistance level right here. Broke out. Resistance. Support. There's a line that actually goes through this, but it's not important. So right, support broke down yesterday. Actually, we did break down below this. Look at this. Right, broke down. So that we're seeing weakness as far as Bitcoin. But, Bitcoin can maybe get up here to 25,500. Again, probably not likely because of all the resistance we're facing as far as the weekly moving averages and stuff. But you can see where that might be. And of course, I kind of messed it up now because you can see everything's not exactly because of what I did with the changing from the weekly moving average, weekly time frame to the daily time frame. But go over here very fast. Go over here very fast. Actually, when I adjust this, it actually gets a little bit more detailed, doesn't it? But you can go over here. Where was this at? There you go. You can go right over here and just change them up as you feel. Why is this not? Oh, there it is. Okay. Right. Now you see that resistance right there. Resistance here, or see me support kind of around here. Some support here, some resistance there. Resistance right there. I mean, a little bit up here, but I wouldn't say it's too much. But right here, we're facing that level of resistance. So that could be something you're looking at if you want to go with this method of trading. Most of you guys, I would have to say, probably are never going to use pitchforks. They're kind of cool. They're kind of neat. They have nice colors to them. But, there's other stuff here that told you guys, hey, there's a resistance level here. There's a resistance level here. Most of the time, it's going to be Fibonacci extension tools and stuff like that. But if you guys are thinking like, hey, more long-term, maybe I can use this for a little bit longer, yeah, give it a shot. And then what you could do over here again is maybe go over to the 15-minute chart, pull it out, and kind of see what was going on. Because you can see this wasn't exact, but it was pretty close. Not exact, but pretty close. Oh, I turned on one of the indicators by accident. Sorry, guys. But you could try to pair that with some type of level of resistance, maybe another tool like a Smart Money Concepts, actually, and see where that goes. Probably for this one, but maybe best to go to a 2-hour chart. Yeah, you can see that resistance level being formed up here at the premium. Down here, we have a support level. But probably that support level actually extends all the way down here as well. But anyway, I don't want to get too caught up in this. There are tons of tools on TradingView that people don't know about. I think the majority of you guys do use TradingView, at least for part of your technical analysis. I want to go through a lot of these and teach you guys how to use them. At least the ones where I think you probably get some benefit out of it. There's a bunch here like that one I just showed you guys. Sure, you could get some benefit out of it, but it's probably just easier to learn how to place a pitchfork onto a chart and learn how to do Fibonacci levels. Automated things can be pretty fun, but sometimes it's not as easy as you would think, and the indicator doesn't do everything you want it to do. Although I would say if you wanted to try to do something like this, let's go over here. Let's go to pitchfork. Okay, go back to this one right here, auto pitchfork. Now, maybe if you wanted to go over to the 15-minute chart, maybe it could help you with day trading. So you don't want to just use it for something else, like, right here. How's this working out? How's this working out a little bit? That breakout there, hit that level of resistance, coming back down a little bit more. You'd have to kind of watch this for a little bit of time. So I'd probably see, let's go very fast. There you go. Let's just kind of snap this into place. Let's go to auto, and let's just kind of play this out at 10x speed. Okay, watch the lines, watch the lines. See all those? I don't like all those lines. Changed up on me. Yeah, this is how you would have to look at it in real time. So you'll actually, it's kind of nice for some scalping opportunities here, though. Scalp, scalp, scalp. I guess that's not a scalp. Was into it? That was actually pretty nice for scalping. No. You'd have to adjust this and find the specific numbers you're looking for here, and maybe add a few different levels here. But normally what I would just say is, like, I would just use the smart money concepts one, because then from here, again, you got to backtest a little bit. I guess we still got time to backtest. But you got your support levels down here. It's not as complicated. It's not as simple as just finding support and resistance levels. But you can see where it's giving you some levels that, hey, may have find a buying opportunity here. Here's a premium short zone right now. You short right there. Up there again, you lost some money, so it didn't work out that time. So you got to put some other technical analysis in here, but it's a lot easier to just look at something like this than go through all the other crap of a pitchfork or an automated system. I would say. But yeah, normally I use this for like 4-hour charts though, so it's a little bit different. But let me see if I can go back here a little bit. Oh, I don't want to even do that. Don't worry about it. Get out of here very fast. You guys know I'm much more of a swing trader, although day trading has been really fun over the past few months. I'll go back over here very fast. There we go. Okay. No worries, Bideford. Have a great rest of your time. I'll see you I'll see you a little bit later. Hey, Kevin, there was a guy on YouTube who had an AI program an indicator for him. It was very cool. That'd be kind of fun to see. I'd have to watch to see how it done, but if an AI did it, it would be interesting. I don't know if it'd be a chat GPT thing, but I don't understand coding language, so I wouldn't even be able to like start on that type of process. Can you do some TA on Amazon? I have some puts expiring Friday. I got greedy and didn't stick to my plan. See yesterday. Oh yeah. Yesterday I saw the calls definitely going. The value of the puts definitely going up here. You saw it bounce off the 20-day moving average. That's where I personally scaled out today. Yeah, let me show you very fast. Hide that. Here, let's go to daily. Yeah. So I scaled out right here in the morning. It did come back down lower, so I thought I made a mistake, but then it kind of rallied out of nowhere towards the end of the day. But at this point here, you're pretty much just hoping that we're just testing this out, the 20-day moving average, and we're going to break down below it over the next few days. By Friday is basically what you're thinking about. The options I had were the 105 puts we talked about. As the day before earnings. And so, it was all the way up here, popped up, came back down. So the implied volatility kind of killed us a little bit on those puts though. So I had to wait a little bit longer for it to actually turn profitable, which really sucked, even though the earnings kind of went in our way on the downward side. But right now you're pretty much just hoping it breaks down below the 20 and it comes back down here to this $95 level. I would say there's an opportunity for it to do that, but you got to be pretty careful at this point, because again, right here, right, it's trying to hold on to that support level as well. I would say, I don't know what your puts are at right now, but hopefully they're in the money at this point. If you have a $100 strike price put, that's going to be a little bit more volatile. And depending on how you want to play it, at a certain point, you just want to see if it'll get down there and give it some more time. Let me go over here to... oh, not what. My gosh, okay. Whale stream. There we go. Let me see what the hedge funds are doing right now. Whatever. CN. Okay, it's 2025. Let's just go through the filters here. I don't need to go through all this stuff. No, I'm not gonna worry about that. Let's go for. I don't think there's gonna be many golden sweeps here. There we go. Aggressive orders. Only 2 aggressive orders? No, okay, that's not gonna be good. Let's see. Anything unusual? Really, nothing unusual. That is weird. Unusual. Okay, well, this is what we're good for. Okay. So right now, it looks like a lot of the stuff that's been bought at this point in time was all calls today with a couple puts in here. Looks like a put at ask for 210. That's a couple days from here. This is a $98 one. So it looks like somebody's doing that play, hoping that we drop down a little bit more before the end of the week. The rate, all these calls that I see here, though, here's a little bit of a longer one, actually. A lot of the calls that I see, I wonder if this is just a small hedge, though, against one of these larger plays. Let me go to put the premium on top. So we got a put for March. That had the most premium today. So the big bet was that Amazon's going to be going down. That's 80. That's an 80 strike price here. That's for like 3 weeks from now. No, that's like a month from now. Never mind. A month and a quarter. A month and a week. So somebody thinks that it's going to go down to $80, but that's a while away. Price of 36 cents. That's really, really cheap. So that's risky. Amazon 421, 721. That's a while away. Here for next week. 100. Seems like there's a lot of calls for next week here. 217. There's another put over here, which is going to help you out a little bit. 99. Dude, people are flat out gambling on these things right now. Look at this. There's a lot of calls saying we're going to stick around this 100 to 105 level by next Friday here. And next Friday is definitely the 17th. Yeah. So people are expecting some type of bounce where we bounce off the 20 and move back up a little bit higher than they're going to sell. I don't know if that's really going to happen or if we're just going to crash below this 20-day moving average here. For now, let's take a quick peek at the NASDAQ. And we got about 25 minutes left. NASDAQ broke out. We talked about this a while ago. Still doing pretty hot here. Let's do that. Get rid of this right now. If there was going to be a big move, I would say off of this one, it would probably happen Thursday or Friday. That would lead to the tank that you'd be hoping for as far as Amazon's concerned. So I would say be careful with any puts that you're having right now. You may see that the Amazon kind of dip down tomorrow, but somehow manage to even claw upwards and still stay above the daily moving average. So if you get an opportunity to close it with some profit, I'd probably say that's better than closing with no profit at all. If you wanted to take some risk, I'd probably say, if you have an opportunity to close part of it for profit, just close a part of it for profit and part of it for profit, and then kind of see if there is a little bit more of a dip come Thursday or Friday. But at that point, it would really come down to what your calls, I'm assuming your strike prices would be for those puts. Are they at 95, which is pretty extreme right now, or are they at 105, which I talked about last week? Or are they more at like 100, where it's kind of more on the edge, but still out of the money at this point, so that, it's going to be a little bit more volatile. That's what you're going to have to work out for yourself. But at this point, I would say keep an eye out for the NASDAQ to break down. Once it breaks down, it doesn't mean we're tanking, but it does mean we have an opportunity to go sideways or down, most likely down at this point, because the market's kind of irrational, if you ask me. Not wrong, just irrational. But yeah, so I would say be careful with it for right now. That kind of gives me some worry, just the fact that everybody seems to be wanting Amazon to go sky high all of a sudden. Let's go over here very fast. And hey, the Biden economy, good numbers. Right now, we did have a good, strong jobs report. We had a very strong jobs report this for December, I think it was. Oh, was it January? January? I don't remember what it was. But yeah, January, 500,000 jobs. It was a blockbuster number right there. That's right here. There. Some of you guys are worried. Some say not good. Some say it's okay, fine. And some say it's great right now. So I'll be interested to see what happens as time goes on and what happens with this speech here. We still got some time left. Whenever it's ready, I have it right here from the the formal White House YouTube channel. 21 minutes and 7 seconds. After that, we'll be raring to go. Oh, let's see right here what's going on right here very fast, guys. There you go. Sorry, I thought my signal was messing up for a second or something like that. But yeah, we'll be watching that pretty soon. But yeah, I would always say, guys, I mean, I'll be doing lots of videos on these, so you guys don't have to really go out of your way to look at this. But they do have a lot of interesting oscillators and stuff. You guys can click on it. You guys can learn more about it. And when I give you guys information about this stuff, I mean, this is not clearly like a really detailed explanation of what this is. That's why I'm making these videos in the first place. And he'll bring out other terms and stuff like that. But you could see how this line really didn't hold up there. It didn't hold up there. You know, it can be kind of complicated of why you'd want to buy stuff in certain areas. That's what I'm kind of hoping to do. But I want to do deep dive videos into this, but I'm just not entirely sure the best way to do that yet. Like even the videos I've done up to now, I want to do deep dive versions of the same technical indicators and give you guys that information as well. But I'll probably have like a top 5 video, a top 3 video, a top 10 video, like over the next few months or weeks. And then, you know, once I kind of have done enough research and kind of gone through each of the different ways you might want to use this, like you may want to adjust the settings to A settings for day trading on the 5-minute or 15-minute charts, but you may want to do these settings for the 4-hour and daily charts. You know, I want to get all that information down, and therefore you guys will be able to have all of that on a Google Drive sheet or something where you can just have it automated, ready to go. Or if you guys have a premium account on TradingView, you guys could just have it for different dashboards here, right? So, you know, you guys know I have different dashboards here, or layouts, I guess I would say. So you could change them up. So that's what I mean by long, like, you know, knowing everything an hour long. But I'm still in the learning phase about all that type of stuff as well. I know quite a bit about them, but again, you know, that would only probably get me to 20 minutes, 30 minutes. I want to do an hour-long video, kind of deep dive. But maybe at the end of the day, maybe a 30-minute video is actually just fine enough, and I'm pretty sure I can do that as well here. So we'll see how it all kind of pops out for us. But yeah, lots of stuff out here. I give this guy coins every now and again. He's really chill. He joined 9 years ago. Oh my gosh. But loads of indicators. I'd say give it a shot. Some of them use different things. Like some of them use this, although I think it's more. What is it at? Line breakers, yeah. So you'll see these guys use different charts. I don't like using many of these charts, honestly. But I'm a classic guy. I like the classics. Excuse me. But yeah, I'll walk you through a lot of this stuff over the next few weeks. I think it's interesting. I think it's informative. I think it kind of just takes a little bit of extra work off of your shoulders as far as like looking for supports, looking for signals that say, hey, buy, or some of you guys are just looking for a signal that says, hey, I'm looking for something to buy. This says buy, I'll take a chance, some more risky, right? Whatever your trading style is, I'm going to hopefully give you guys some opportunities to make some good money and teach you guys how to use the indicators the proper way. So after you make some settings adjustments, you're ready to go, and you're not going to be tricked or got taken advantage of by a bear market, a bull trap or a bear trap or something similar like that. Like here's one, support resistance dynamic. This is by Lazy Lonesome. You know, this isn't something I would use, but you can kind of see what it's trying to do here. This is a 15-minute chart. You know, basic, you know, just find a line, draw it out there, but it does it automatically for you, and it tells you the number in case you really want to know. Right? That's nice and easy. Typically for me, I prefer if it's not a dotted line, but I can always just change that in the actual settings here, right? Go over here, go to style, right? Go to levels. Oh, actually, no, probably inputs, line color. Oh, maybe you can't change it. Visibility, below bar, RS level. No, we don't need that for now. Precision. No, we don't need to change that. Sleep back. Oh, there it is. Jeez, I'm just so blind today. There you go. See? Ooh. Lines. So, I don't know why it took me so long. I just don't. Yeah. I didn't get much sleep last night. That's technically why. As you guys know that watched me last night, I was drinking coffee before I went to bed, so I really didn't get much sleep. But yeah, all those tools are going to help you guys out a lot. Oh, but I just want you guys to be able to see them and use them appropriately and not have to kind of wondering what's going on, because sometimes the explanations are just not very good. Like for the ultimate moving average one that I'm going to be doing for you guys tomorrow. I think the video will be done by tomorrow. He has this line out, and he kind of he says somewhere in here, If I can find it. Is that? I don't know where this is at actually. Yes. I must be thinking of something else as far as he's concerned. Um, yeah, this is the one I'm thinking of. But basically, you're going to try to learn how to use this, but does this tell you how to use it? No. He has a video on his page that teaches you how to use it, but the video is so old that it's using an old version, so it actually looks nothing like the settings bar. When you click on the settings tab for this, it looks nothing like the one he shows you. So that's what I'm basically updating for a lot of you guys. That's right here. And hey, Coin Phased, happy to see you back, my man. Oh, what's right here? The market is volatile. There are many entry points for the bull market. Oh, yeah. I mean, that's why I continue to dollar cost average. Nice and easy for me. Thoughts on Stellar? I bought 10K coins. I haven't talked about Stellar in a while. Let's go here. Any news on it yet? Over the past few any news on it? I don't think there's been much news on it. Okay, no. Okay. No. Which wait, is it the right one? Yeah, XLM. Okay. Don't know why. Okay, there we go. Let's go to looks pretty much like Bitcoin at this point. There's something is wrong with this 20. There you go. It's just slowly getting rejected by this 20-week moving average, it looks like. I think there's an opportunity for it to have a robust breakout on top of it. Probably would happen for this weekend, I would say. Best opportunity. I don't know what the stock market is going to be doing, but this address we're going to be watching a little bit could actually see some volatility. But after that, I think it's cleared back up here to at least 98 cents, 99 cents. And then from there, you start to work your way back up possibly to like, oh, not 98 cents, I'm sorry, 0.098 cents. I think you work your way back up to a penny bit by bit, and a penny is just right here. It's going to be 10 cents. Oh my gosh. It is 9 cents. Yeah, my gosh, sorry guys. I think you start working your way up towards 11 cents or so. 11, 10 cents. I'd say 11 cents. I think there's a good opportunity if you wanted to make that trade. This is the weekly chart, of course. Daily here, you're probably going to have a golden cross. If you want to get a good buying opportunity, you could always just start buying that breakout if it occurs. We have broken down below the 20, just like Bitcoin did. But just like Bitcoin, we managed to break back up. Seeing a nice little move up there from the 50 as well. I would say if you do want to buy this breakout here, I would actually just have a nice level of resistance. No, not that. Right up here, basically where the support levels are for these assets. Let me make that move down just a little bit there. And then what you're looking at also is the 50, the 200 daily moving average. That'd be my first scale up point. And if we're able to break above that, then I think you're cleared back up here towards 10 cents, 10.5 cents up to 11.5 cents. This would be the Goldilocks land way up here. But I think it's going to be a hard thing to break out above this. So I might scale at 25%, move the stop loss back up to where I bought it up here, and then hope that it continues to consolidate, then break out, and then that breakout really takes you back up here for like your final exit point, if that makes sense. So I think it looks fine. It's just pure consolidation though, and there's no real strong reason to buy it besides the fact that it's in a consolidation pattern, waiting to do a continuation onto the next leg. You're pretty much just waiting for that continuation to break and go pop. Let's go over here to 10 seconds. There we go. Chill out for a little bit. We just gotta wait for this next 12 minutes or so. There we go. Okay. If Doge hit 75 cents, why can't Stellar, right? Stellar can hit 75 cents. I don't even think the market cap is it's large, but it's not massive, right? Yeah, it's 2.5 billion or 2.4 billion. It can definitely hit 75-cent market cap. Now, it would have to get the memification type of stuff getting down, right? But I think it's possible. I think just give it some time for the next bull market. I think it'll probably even have an opportunity to go above $1 at this point. Especially because there's going to be a lot of money, a lot of freaky money in this next bull market here. And hey, Jake and Bake Lightning just said, my dude, never stop growing. I know, I was really happy to do this. I streamed really late last night because I was just in a bad mood because I bought this green screen behind me. You can't see it, obviously, because it's green, at Amazon. And I thought it came with a stand. So, like, I can put the clamps on it and I can just have it behind me and kind of move it around. Well, it turns out that if I had to scroll all the way to the bottom to like the deep description where it goes over everything, and I learned that it really didn't have a stand, so I just got this massive curtain, like absolutely massive curtain behind me. I had to fold it in half because it was so massive, and it's still all the way to the ground and kind of like not making a mess because I folded it properly, but it's big. So because I didn't have a stand for it and I really wanted to stream with it yesterday, I literally decided to nail it to my ceiling. So I got on my chair, I got my nail, I got my hammers, I got a bunch of tools in the garage I've been buying over the years. And I just so I could stream with you guys. So like if I go over here very fast, how do I do this? Oops, I messed with something I shouldn't have. There we go. So make my head a little bit larger here. I can go over here to video capture device. I need to go over to filters, I believe. Edit filters. Chroma key off here. Now you can see the green screen behind me. See? So what do you call it's nice to have it. I've been talking to my friend Tom Crown has a nice green screen effect behind him as well. So I wanted to get one as well here. I've been looking at it for a while, but I just didn't know where I was going to put it. So what I actually had to do is I had to move my desk around a little bit. I had to move my sofa around a little bit, and I was able to make it work. But I wasn't entirely sure if I wanted this up until like maybe a week ago. So it's nice. It's easy. Now you guys can't see that light that's normally behind me, that bluish or reddish light. Now there's two huge lights pointed at me to make sure the green screen is looking fine. But I think it's nice because now I can kind of make my head a little bit larger without you guys, like without the screen behind me getting blocked off. The only thing is every now and again I just feel like I'm in an awkward spot because I put myself into a box like my hand. Feels weird having this box around me, even though the box was already there a while ago. But yeah, now I'm working on trying to get my camera, which my friend said I can do it. I just gotta figure out how. My camera to send 4K resolution video to my computer. Right now, the way I have it set up is awkward, I guess, for the computer to understand or my Camlink tools to understand. And so basically, the picture you're seeing of me right now is taken with a 6K camera, but the computer is only getting 1080 resolution from the camera right now, even though the camera's looking at me in 6K resolution. So I have to work on that to make sure you guys can see me in 4K at least, and that way you guys can see me in true 4K. This stream is in 4K, I believe, but real 4K, like me 4K, everything 4K, that's what I'm really hoping for here. Although maybe 4K is too close, you guys can see too much of my forehead or something, I don't know. And it looks like we have about 8 minutes left until not Jerome Powell, geez, we're talking about Jerome for a lot. Until Joe Biden talks. Now, I'll be watching it. It still says State of the Union 2023. We will begin shortly. So once it begins, once everybody starts walking down the aisles, everybody's like, "Hey, man, hey," we'll tune into it. Crypto is good because it's still young. Oh yeah, guys, it's still really early. I was just looking up today, looking more into how Nicaragua likes cryptocurrencies because they don't hate it, but they don't love it. But they have even Coinbase is in Nicaragua, so it's not like it's hated down there. But I'm hoping I can do some type of initiative down there with cryptocurrencies and teach people how to use them and invest in them. Once I get down to Nicaragua, which would be pretty fun. I'm hoping that I can, how do I say it? Like when I get a little bit of a staff on hand, I could pretty much pay that staff like $200 a month, and they'd be perfectly fine with that wage. but I'm gonna try to pay them like $250 a month just to be nice, but also give them like $50 a month to invest in any cryptocurrency they want, or maybe just $5, $10. I'm not really sure, and I don't even know what my budget's gonna be. My channel doesn't even make like my channel makes like $700 a month right now, $600 a month. I don't even know, but yeah, not a lot. So pretty much I'm gonna be using that revenue to try to hire some staff, and basically just try to teach them some skills and see if they can better their lives. I mean, if I can get them to be making if they can help me get my channel up, they'll be probably making $500 a month, $1,000 a month. And I don't know what that translates to the currency, but I know for a fact I can get a full-time maid, not full-time, but like 9 to 5 maid, so full-time, but like not living maid. A 9 to 5 maid for $200 a month. Every day, Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. $200 a month. Actually, I think it's 7 days a week, but I wouldn't want to do that to anybody. So I know the cost of living down there is very, very cheap, and I'm going to be flush with cash, obviously. So I'm going to have some fun down there, but hopefully grow my YouTube account even more. But I'm in the process of trying to go through all this immigration stuff, right? Get all the paperwork, see what I got to do. Maybe get a lawyer just to help me out a little bit here and see where it goes. Ooh, Bitcoin taking a mini dump here on the second chart. I hope Biden talks about corn pop again. I didn't even realize he did that last time. I remember we did this last year as well. We had a good talk about it. I like these speeches just because I want to see what they're actually trying to do. I follow politics, but it's mostly like what affects me, and more recently, mostly just what about the crypto markets and stuff like that. How is crypto policy going to change? Because the more money that's allowed to flood into the system from America, the better crypto is going to do, obviously. Jay Powell followed by Sleepy Joe, GRT short squeezing again. Oh, it might be. I know Jerome Powell talked today. He was still neutral. He didn't say anything too hawkish or too dovish. He was still right down the middle. The market didn't like his statements, I don't think, today. But I think he's just saying the same stuff he's been saying for a while. Honestly, nothing too crazy there. GRT short squeezing. I mean, I'd be careful with it, but if you want to go down that day trading route with it, it's probably going to work out okay. But definitely have your stop losses if you want to go down that route, because GRT, when it squeezes, it has a lot of fun, but it can fall down pretty darn hard here. Let me see over here. What time is it? Oh, I got full screen on. I forgot. It's 5:56 in about 4 minutes, I assume, maybe a little bit longer, because you never know exactly when it's going to hit. We should be able to go live. Let me go check out some of these other things so far. Oh, I think they're clapping for some stuff right now, so I should be able just to put this one up here for us. Hold on a second here, guys. We're going to watch the PBS NewsHour version. There we go. Here we go, guys. I won't talk too much. Everybody's very quiet.
Mr. Speaker, the President's Cabinet.
I always like looking at the background people, not who's in the front. Look who's in the back. They have the best faces because they know they're not technically on camera yet, or they think they're not. Like, this is a pretty big cabinet. I don't know who a lot of these people are. Kenny G, don't poop people. Oh, man. Hey, Courtney, this is Joe Biden's cabinet. That's who's walking down the aisle right now. They've already done this, the justices, I believe, as well. Supreme Court justices. Dude, just look at all the people on the top of the building, though, up here. Dude, why is she wearing so much yellow? I think she's an independent now, too.
This program was made possible by contributions to your PBS.
Okay, well, I can't play that there. But yeah, so we'll come back to it in a second. I guess I don't know why they're doing that. Gotta go over here now. Jeez. I can't play their other stuff. I don't know why they'd go to commercial during this. But yeah. I like to see what's going on in the insider stuff, right? But now it looks like PBS is going to, like, they're doing a little bit of a talking thing. So far, I'm still waiting for the White House version here. So I'm still waiting for this. It's live, but it's not showing everything just yet. Maybe what I can try to do over here very fast is just get out of this very fast. Go over here. Maybe if I go to C-SPAN. I think C-SPAN usually has some good stuff here. Bitcoin seems to like everybody walking out, that's for sure. Let's see. Yeah, C-SPAN has a better version, it looks like, so we can just get rid of this. We'll come over here to C-SPAN. I'll make it full time. Let me get rid of this one, and I think we should be good. Let me turn the volume back up. There we go. I'll move my name over this so we can be sly about it. There you go. We're sly here. We're sly. I don't want to listen to commentary over it. I just want to listen to the speech. I don't like when PBS just cuts off, because this is, I mean, it sounds weird, but this is like, I like watching these insiders do their stuff, right? I want to see what they're doing, like who's shaking hands with who, even though I don't know who they are. Look at all the people on the top up here. There we go. Okay. Let's go Bitcoin. Oh yeah. There's a congresswoman from Hawaii, I believe, and the senator from Hawaii, and the senator from what's that lady's name? Elizabeth Warren. Oh, they have crayons. Maybe they're supporting kids or something like that. Dude, the fake smiles always kill me in this. I feel bad for Kamala. Forcing a fake smile is the hardest thing to do when you have a camera on you. Kevin McCarthy's not even trying to do a smile. He's just like, let's get this over with. See? Fake smile. Fake smile. He's not even trying. See? Not trying. Fake smiles are hard, guys. Fake smiles are very, very hard. Your mouth gets... like, it's so hard to do a fake smile, guys. Oh, man. I see he's trying to do his fake smile now. Then it goes back to normal. It's a very hard talent to learn. We'll probably get the next batch of people here pretty soon. I mean, it might be the president coming after the cabinet. The president's cabinet just came in. Oh, and when he comes in there, I'm going to stop talking once he starts talking, okay? I'll be here, but, you know, you just see me kind of staring at the screen. Watch them all hobnob, Heather. Oh, man. Oh, man, hobnob. Hey, boy. Loki's over here. He says hello, everybody. Oh, let's get your eye booger out. There you go. There you go. Loki says hello for a treat. Oh, here we go. These look like Secret Service folks. They don't seem like anybody important.
Mr. Speaker, the President of the United States.
Real smiles activate. So on the left, that's Jill Biden. On the right, that's Kamala Harris's husband. I don't know his name, but... Oh, that's hot. Take the top off of this sucker. Oh my god, that's hot. That burned. I like that green tie. If you guys haven't already, can you please make sure to like the video? Like the video if you can. No, he's going to speak in a few minutes. The speech isn't over. It hasn't even started. My poor tongue. He said Amy Coney Barrett looked beautiful. I can't see what she looks like, but yeah, she probably does look beautiful tonight. Oh. You got to keep clapping. It's just the way it goes. It's just the awkwardness of it. Remember, this is all a form of propaganda. This is to show the country, the world, that everybody's happy, united. It's almost an act a little bit. His speech will convey what he wants to get done, but you know, turn this volume down here a little bit. Remember, the goal here is to kind of convey a certain message, and everybody wants to feel good. Remember, I think like 61% of Americans feel like Biden hasn't done anything. That was a horrible poll number that just came out, I think 2 days ago, something like that. I saw it on CNN. I was like, oh shit. Like, you know, he's actually done some stuff with infrastructure and things like that. But people feel the economy is so much worse than when he took over. People just don't like it, if that makes sense. So he has to convey that. He has to convey that going forward. So I'm about to shut up and you guys can watch this play out. But, you know, he's trying to get people to like him a little bit more, understand that he has an agenda and what his focus is for the next year. America's focus for the next year. You'll see who claps and who doesn't. Maybe there'll be a boo. Maybe there'll be a snicker, or not snicker, but like a heckler. We just don't know how long it's going to go.
Thank you.
But I mean, we'll be here for a while, right? I'll be here for a while.
Members of Congress, I have the high privilege and distinct honor to present to you the President of the United States.
See, even Republicans are clapping. Well, most Republicans are clapping.
Thank you. You can smile. It's okay. Thank you.
Just look at everybody on the top, though. That's what, like, everybody on the top. The top is crazy up there. The gallery. It's called the gallery.
Mr. Speaker, Madam Vice President, our First Lady and Second Gentleman, good to see you guys up there. Members of Congress.
They got Bono down there. See Bono on the bottom?
By the way, Chief Justice, I may need a court order. She gets to go to the game tomorrow, next week. I have to stay home. Got to work something out here. Members of the Cabinet, leaders of our military, Chief Justice, Associate Justice, and retired Justice of the Supreme Court, and to you, my fellow Americans. You know, I start tonight by congratulating the 118th Congress and the new Speaker of the House, Kevin McCarthy. Speaker, I don't want to ruin your reputation, but I look forward to working with you. And I want to congratulate the new leader of the House Democrats, the first African-American minority leader in history, Hakeem Jeffries. He won in spite of the fact I campaigned for him. Congratulations to the longest-serving leader in the history of the United States Senate, Mitch McConnell. Where are you, Mitch?
He's not even standing up.
And congratulations to Chuck Schumer, another, another term as Senate Minority Leader. I think you. Only this time you have a slightly bigger majority, Mr. Leader. You're the majority leader. About that much bigger? Yeah. Well, I tell you what. I want to give special recognition to someone who I think is going to be considered the greatest speaker in the history of the House of Representatives, Nancy Pelosi.
It'll be important to watch the faces of the two people behind President Biden. That'll be on the left, Kamala Harris, Vice President, and the Speaker of the House, McCarthy. Watch the faces.
Of always moving forward, of never, ever giving up. It's a story unique among all nations. We're the only country that has emerged from every crisis we've ever entered stronger than we got into it. Look, folks, that's what we're doing again. 2 years ago, the economy was reeling. I stand here tonight after we've created, with the help of many people in this room, 12 million new jobs. More jobs created in 2 years than any president's created in 4 years because of you all, because of the American people. 2 years ago, and 2 years ago, COVID had shut down, our businesses were closed, our schools were robbed of so much, and today, COVID no longer controls our lives. And 2 years ago, democracy faced its greatest threats in the Civil War, and today, though bruised, our democracy remains unbowed and unbroken. As we gather here tonight, we're writing the next chapter in the great American story, a story of progress and resilience. When world leaders ask me to define America, and they do, believe it or not, I can define it in one word, and I mean this: possibilities. We don't think anything is beyond our capacity. Everything is a possibility. You know, we're often told that Democrats and Republicans can't work together. But over the past 2 years, we've proved the cynics and naysayers wrong. Yes, we disagreed plenty. And yes, there were times when Democrats went alone. But time and again, Democrats and Republicans came together to defend a stronger and safer Europe. You came together to pass once in a generation infrastructure law, building bridges connecting our nation and our people. We came together to pass the most significant law ever, helping victims exposed to toxic burn pits. And in fact, it was important. And in fact, I signed over 300 bipartisan pieces of legislation since becoming president, from reauthorizing the Violence Against Women Act, the Electoral Count Reform Act, the Respect for Marriage Act that protects the right to marry the person you love. And to my Republican friends, if we could work together the last Congress, there's no reason we can't work together and find consensus on important things in this Congress as well. I think folks, you all are as formed as I am, but I think the people sent us a clear message. Fighting for the sake of fighting, power for the sake of power, conflict for the sake of conflict gets us nowhere. That's always been my vision of our country, and I know it's many of yours. To restore the soul of this nation, to rebuild the backbone of America, America's middle class, and to unite the country. We've been sent here to finish the job, in my view. For decades, the middle class has been hollowed out in not one administration, but for a long time. Too many good-paying manufacturing jobs move overseas. Factories closed down. Once thriving cities and towns that many of you represent became shadows of what they used to be. And along the way, something else we lost: pride, our sense of self-worth. I ran for president to fundamentally change things, to make sure our economy works for everyone, so we can all feel that pride in what we do. To build an economy from the bottom up and the middle out, not from the top down. Because when the middle class does well, the poor have a ladder up, and the wealthy still do very well. We all do well. I know a lot of you always kid me for always quoting my dad, but my dad used to say, "Joey, a job's about a lot more than a paycheck." He really would say this. It's about a lot more than a paycheck. It's about your dignity. It's about respect. It's about being able to look your kid in the eye and say, "Honey, it's going to be okay," and mean it. Well, folks, so let's look at the results. We're not finished yet by any stretch of the imagination, but unemployment rate is at 3.4%, a 50-year low. A near record unemployment. Near record unemployment for Black and Hispanic workers. We've already created, your help, 800,000 good-paying manufacturing jobs, the fastest growth in 40 years. And where is it written? Where is it written that America can't lead the world in manufacturing? And I don't know where that's written. For too many decades, we imported projects and exported jobs. Now, thanks to what you've all done, we're exporting American products and creating American jobs. Folks, inflation has been a global problem because the pandemic disrupted our supply chains, and Putin's unfair and brutal war in Ukraine disrupted energy supplies as well as food supplies, blocking all that grain in Ukraine. But we're better positioned than any country on earth right now. But we have more to do. But here at home, inflation is coming down. Here at home, gas prices are down $1.50 from their peak. Food inflation is coming down, not fast enough, but coming down. Inflation has fallen every month for the last 6 months, while take-home pay has gone up. Additionally, over the last 2 years, a record 10 million Americans applied to start new businesses. 10 million. And by the way, every time someone starts a small business is an act of hope. And Madam Vice President, I want to thank you for leading that effort to ensure that small businesses have access to capital and the historic laws we enacted that are going to just come into being. Standing here last year, I shared with you a story of American genius and possibilities. Semiconductors, small computer chips the size of a fingerprint that power everything, from cell phones to automobiles and so much more. These chips were invented in America. Let's get that straight. They were invented in America. We used to make 40% of the world's chips. In the last several decades, we lost our edge. We're down to only producing 10%. We all saw what happened during the pandemic when chip factories shut down overseas. Today's automobiles need 3,000 chips, each of those automobiles. But American automobiles couldn't make enough cars because there weren't enough chips. Car prices went up, people got laid off, so did everything from refrigerators to cell phones. We can never let that happen again. That's why we came together to pass the Bipartisan Chips and Science Act. Folks, I know I've been criticized for saying this, but I'm not changing my view. We're going to make sure the supply chain for America begins in America. The supply chain begins in America. We've already created 800,000 new manufacturing jobs without this law, before the law kicks in. With this new law, we're going to create hundreds of thousands of new jobs across the country. And I mean all across the country, throughout not just the coast, but through the middle of the country as well. That's going to come from companies that have announced more than $300 billion in investment in American manufacturing over the next few years. Outside of Columbus, Ohio, Intel is building semiconductor factories on 1,000 acres, literally a field of dreams. It's going to create 10,000 jobs, that one investment, 7,000 construction jobs, 3,000 jobs in those factories once they're finished. They call them factories. Jobs paying an average of $130,000 a year, and many do not require a college degree. Jobs. Because we work together, these jobs where people don't have to leave home to search for opportunity. And it's just getting started. Think about the new homes, the small businesses, the medium-sized businesses. So much more that's going to be needed to support those 3,000 permanent jobs and the factories that are going to be built. Talk to mayors and governors, Democrats and Republicans, and they'll tell you what this means for their communities. We're seeing these field of dreams transform to the heartland. But to maintain the strongest economy in the world, we need the best infrastructure in the world. And folks, as you all know, we used to be #1 in the world in infrastructure. We've sunk to 13th in the world. The United States of America, 13th in the world in infrastructure, modern infrastructure. But now we're coming back because we came together and passed the bipartisan infrastructure law, the largest investment in infrastructure since President Eisenhower's interstate highway system. And folks, already we've funded over 20,000 projects, including major airports from Boston to Atlanta to Portland. Projects that are going to put thousands of people to work rebuilding our highways, our bridges, our railroads, our tunnels, ports, airports, clean water, high-speed internet, all across America. Urban, rural, tribal. And folks, we're just getting started. We're just getting started. And I mean it sincerely. I want to thank my Republican friends who voted for the law, and my Republican friends who voted against it as well. But I still get asked to fund the projects in those districts as well. But don't worry. I promised I'd be a president for all Americans. We'll fund these projects. And I'll see you at the groundbreaking. Look, this law will further unite all of America. Projects like Brent Spence Bridge in Kentucky over the Ohio River, built 60 years ago, badly needed repairs, one of the nation's most congested freight routes, carrying $2 billion worth of freight every single day across the Ohio River. And folks, we've been talking about fixing it for decades, but we're really finally going to get it done. Yes. I went there last month with Democrats and Republicans, and from both states, to deliver a commitment of $1.6 billion for this project. And while I was there, I met a young woman named Sarah, who's here tonight. I don't know where Sarah is. Is she up in the box? I don't know. Sarah, how are you? Well, Sarah, for 30 years, I learned, she told me she'd been a proud member of the Iron Workers Local 44, known as the Cowboys in the Sky. The folks who built Cincinnati's skyline. Sarah said she can't wait to be 10 stories above the Ohio River building that new bridge. God bless her. That's pride. And that's what we're also building. We're building back pride. Look, we're also replacing poisonous lead pipes that go into 10 million homes in America, 400,000 school and child care centers. So every child in America can drink the water instead of having permanent damage to their brain. Look, we're making sure that every community in America has access to affordable high-speed internet. No parent should have to drive by McDonald's parking lot to help them do their homework online with their kids, which many thousands were doing across the country. And when we do these projects, and again, I get criticized for this, but I make no excuses for it, we're going to buy American. We're going to buy America. Folks, and it's totally consistent with international trade rules. Buy America has been the law since 1933, but for too long, past administrations, Democrat and Republican, have not anymore. Tonight, I'm announcing new standards that require all construction materials used in federal infrastructure projects to be made in America. Made in America. I mean it. Lumber, glass, drywall, fiber optic cable. And on my watch, American roads, bridges, and American highways are going to be made with American products as well. Folks, my economic plan is about investing in places and people that have been forgotten. So many of you listening to me tonight, I know you feel it. So many of you felt like you've just simply been forgotten. Amid the economic upheaval of the past 4 decades, too many people have been left behind and treated like they're invisible. Maybe that's you watching from home. Remember the jobs that went away. You remember them, don't you? The folks at home remember them. You wonder whether the path even exists anymore for your children to get ahead without having to move away. Well, that's why I get that. That's why we're building an economy where no one's left behind. Jobs are coming back. pride is coming back because choices we made in the last several years. You know, this is, in my view, a blue-collar blueprint to rebuild America and make a real difference in your lives at home. For example, too many of you lay in bed at night like my dad did, staring at the ceiling, wondering what in God's name happens if your spouse gets cancer, or your child gets deadly ill, or something happens to you. What are you going to get money to pay for those medical bills? Or are you going to have to sell the house or try to get a second mortgage on it? I get it. I get it. With the Inflation Reduction Act that I signed into law, we're taking on powerful interests to bring health care costs down so you can sleep better at night with more security. You know, we pay more for prescription drugs than any nation in the world. Let me say it again. We pay more for prescription drugs than any major nation on earth. For example, 1 in 10 Americans has diabetes. Many of you in this chamber do, and in the audience. But every day, millions need insulin to control their diabetes so they can literally stay alive. Insulin's been around for over 100 years. The guy who invented it didn't even patent it because he wanted it to be available for everyone. It cost the drug companies roughly $10 a vial to make that insulin. Packaging and all, you may get up to $13. But Big Pharma has been unfairly charging people hundreds of dollars, $400 to $500 a month, making record profits. Not anymore. Not anymore. So many things that we did are only now coming to fruition. We said we were doing this, and we said we passed the law to do it, but people didn't know because the law didn't take effect until January 1 of this year. We capped the cost of insulin at $35 a month for seniors on Medicare. People are just finding out. I'm sure you're getting the same calls I'm getting. Look, there are millions of other Americans who do not or are not on Medicare, including 200,000 young people with type 1 diabetes and need this insulin to stay alive. Let's finish the job this time. Let's cap the cost of insulin for everybody at $35. Folks, and Big Pharma's still going to do very well, I promise you all. I promise you they're going to do very well. This law also caps and won't even go into effect until 2025. Costs, out-of-pocket drug costs for seniors on Medicare at a maximum of $2,000 a year. You don't have to pay more than $2,000 a year, no matter how much your drug costs are. Because you know why? You all know it. Many of you, like many in my family, have cancer. You know the drugs can range from $10,000, $11,000, $14,000, $15,000 for the cancer drugs. If drug prices rise faster than inflation, drug companies are going to have to pay Medicare back the difference. We're finally giving Medicare the power to negotiate drug prices. Bringing down prescription drug costs doesn't just save seniors money, it cuts the federal deficit by billions of dollars, by hundreds of billions of dollars. Because these prescription drugs are drugs purchased by Medicare to keep their commitment to the seniors. Well, guess what? Instead of paying $400 or $500 a month, you're paying $15. That's a lot of savings for the federal government. And by the way, why wouldn't we want that? Now, some members here are threatening, and I know it's not an official party position, so I'm going to exaggerate, but threatening to repeal the Inflation Reduction Act. As my coach, that's okay, that's fair. As my football coach used to say, lots of luck in your senior year. Make no mistake, if you try anything to raise the cost of producing jobs, I will veto it. Look, I'm pleased to say that more Americans have health insurance now than ever in history. A record 16 million people are enrolled in the Affordable Care Act. And thanks to the law I signed last year, saving millions are saving $800 a year on their premiums. And by the way, that law was written and the benefit expires in 2025. So my plea to some of you, at least in this audience, let's finish the job and make these savings permanent. Expand coverage of Medicaid. Look, the Inflation Reduction Act is also the most significant investment ever in climate change. Ever. Lowering utility bills, creating American jobs, leading the world to a clean energy future. I visited the devastating aftermath of record floods, droughts, storms, and wildfires from Arizona to Mexico to all the way up to the Canadian border. More timber has been burned, as I've observed from helicopters, than the entire state of Missouri. And we don't have global warming? Not a problem. In addition to emergency recovery, from Puerto Rico to Florida to Idaho, we're rebuilding for the long term. New electric grids that are able to weather major storms and not prevent those forest fires. Roads and water systems withstand the next big flood. Clean energy to cut pollution and create jobs in communities often left behind. We're going to build 500,000 electric vehicle charging stations installed across the country by tens of thousands of IBEW workers. And we're helping families save more than $1,000 a year with tax credits to purchase electric vehicles and efficient appliances, energy-efficient appliances. Historic conservation efforts to be responsible stewards of our land. Let's face reality. The climate crisis doesn't care if you're in a red or blue state. It's an existential threat. We have an obligation, not to ourselves, but to our children and grandchildren, to confront it. I'm proud of how America, at last, is stepping up to the challenge. We're still going to need oil and gas for a while. But guess what? No, we do. But there's so much more to do. We got to finish the job. And we pay for these investments in our future by finally making the wealthiest and biggest corporations begin to pay their fair share. Just begin. Look, I'm a capitalist, but pay your fair share. I think a lot of you at home agree with me and many people that you know. The tax system is not fair. It is not fair. Look, the idea that in 2020, 55 of the largest corporations in America, the Fortune 500, made $40 billion in profits and paid zero in federal taxes? Zero? Folks, it's simply not fair. But now, because of the law I signed, billion-dollar companies have to pay a minimum of 15%. God love them. 15%. That's less than a nurse pays. And I need to be crystal clear. I said at the very beginning, under my plans, as long as I'm president, nobody earning less than $400,000 will pay an additional penny in taxes. Nobody, not one penny. But let's finish the job. There's more to do. We have to reward work, not just wealth. Pass my proposal for the billionaire minimum tax. You know, there's 1,000 billionaires in America. It's up from about 600 in the beginning of the term. But no billionaire should be paying a lower tax rate than a school teacher or firefighter. mean it. Think about it. I mean, look. I know you aren't enthusiastic about that, but think about it. Think about it. Have you noticed Big Oil just reported its profits, record profits? Last year they made $200 billion in the midst of a global energy crisis. I think it's outrageous. Why? They invested too little of that profit to increase domestic production. And when I talk to a couple of them, they say, we're afraid you're going to shut down all the oil wells, all the oil refineries anyway, so why should we invest in them? I said, we're going to need oil for at least another decade, and that's going to exceed and beyond that. We're going to need it. Production. If they had, in fact, invested in the production to keep gas prices down, instead, they used the record profits to buy back their own stock, rewarding their CEOs and shareholders. Corporations ought to do the right thing. That's why I propose we quadruple the tax on corporate stock buybacks and encourage long-term investments. They'll still make considerable profit. Let's finish the job and close the loopholes that allow very wealthy to avoid paying their taxes. Instead of cutting the number of audits for wealthy taxpayers, I just signed a law to reduce the deficit by $114 billion by cracking down on wealthy tax cheats. That's being fiscally responsible. In the last 2 years, my administration has cut the deficit by more than $1.7 trillion, the largest deficit reduction in American history. Under the previous administration, the American deficit went up 4 years in a row. Because those record deficits, no president added more to the national debt in any 4 years than my predecessor. Nearly 25% of the entire national debt that took over 200 years to accumulate was added by just one administration alone, the last one. They're the facts. Check it out. Check it out. How did Congress respond to that debt? They did the right thing. They lifted the debt ceiling 3 times without preconditions or crisis. They paid American bills to prevent an economic disaster to the country. So tonight I'm asking the Congress to follow suit. Let's commit here tonight to the full faith and credit of the United States of America will never, ever be questioned. So some of my Republican friends want to take the economy hostage. I get it, unless I agree to their economic plans. All of you at home should know what those plans are. Instead of making the wealthy pay their fair share, some Republicans want Medicare and Social Security to sunset. I'm not saying it's a majority. Let me give you, anybody who doubts it, contact my office. I'll give you a copy. I'll give you a copy of the proposal. That means Congress doesn't vote. Well, I'm glad to see you. And I tell you, I enjoy conversion. You know, it means if Congress doesn't keep the programs the way they are, they'd go away. Other Republicans say, I'm not saying it's a majority of you. I don't even think it's even a significant, but it's being proposed by individuals. I'm not politely not naming them, but it's being proposed by some of you. Look.
Dude, this is wild. He's picking a fight. He's actually picking a fight.
Is that we're not going to be moved into being threatened to default on the debt if we don't respond. Folks, as we all apparently agree, Social Security and Medicare is off the books now, right? They're not to be spent. All right. I'm ready. We got unanimity. Social Security and Medicare are a lifeline for millions of seniors. Americans have to pay into them from the very first paycheck they started. So tonight, let's all agree, and we apparently are, let's stand up for seniors. Stand up and show them. We will not cut Social Security. We will not cut Medicare. Those benefits belong to the American people. They earned it. And if anyone tries to cut Social Security, which apparently no one's going to do, and if anyone tries to cut Medicare, I'll stop them. I'll veto it. And look, I'm not going to allow them to be taken away. Not today, not tomorrow, not ever. But apparently it's not going to be a problem. Next month, when I offer my fiscal plan, I ask my Republican friends to lay down their plan as well. I really mean it. Let's sit down together and discuss our mutual plans together. Let's do that. I can tell you, the plan I'm going to show you is going to cut the deficit by another $2 trillion. And it won't cut a single bit of Medicare or Social Security. In fact, we're going to extend the Medicare Trust Fund at least 2 decades, because that's going to be the next argument. How do we keep it solvent, right? Well, we'll not raise tax on anyone making under 400 grand, but we'll pay for it the way we talked about tonight, by making sure that the wealthy and big corporations pay their fair share. Look. Here's the deal. They aren't just taking advantage of the tax code. They're taking advantage of you, the American consumer. Here's my message to all of you out there. I have your back. We're already preventing Americans from receiving surprise medical bills, stopping $1 billion surprise bills per month so far. We're protecting seniors' life savings by cracking down on nursing homes that commit fraud, endanger patient safety, prescribe drugs that are not needed. Millions of Americans can now save thousands of dollars because they can finally get a hearing aid over the counter without a prescription. Look, capitalism without competition is not capitalism. It's extortion. It's exploitation. Last year, I cracked down with the help of many of you on foreign shipping companies that were making you pay higher prices for every good coming into the country. I signed a bipartisan bill that cut shipping costs by 90%, helping American farmers, businessmen, and consumers. Let's finish the job. Pass the bipartisan legislation to strengthen antitrust enforcement and prevent big online platforms from giving their own products an unfair advantage. My administration is also taking on junk fees, those hidden surcharges too many companies use to make you pay more. For example, we're making airlines show you the full ticket price up front, refund your money if your flight is canceled or delayed. We've reduced exorbitant bank overdrafts by saving consumers more than $1 billion a year. We're cutting credit card late fees by 75%, from $30 to $8. Look, junk fees may not matter to the very wealthy, but they matter to most other folks in homes like the one I grew up in, like many of you did. They add up to hundreds of dollars a month. They make it harder for you to pay your bills or afford that family trip. I know how unfair it feels when a company overcharges you and gets away with it. Not anymore. We've written a bill to stop it all. It's called the Junk Fee Prevention Act. We're going to ban surprise resort fees that hotels charge on your bill. Those fees can cost you up to $90 a night at hotels that aren't even resorts. The idea that cable, internet, and cell phone companies can charge you $200 or more if you decide to switch to another provider. Give me a break. We can stop service fees on tickets to concerts and sporting events and make companies disclose all the fees up front. And we'll prohibit airlines from charging $50 round trip for a family just to be able to sit together. Baggage fees are bad enough. Airlines can't treat your child like a piece of baggage. Americans are tired of being. We're tired of being played for suckers. So pass the Junk-Free Prevention Act so companies stop ripping us off. For too long, workers have been getting stiffed, but not anymore. We're beginning to restore the dignity of work. For example, I should have known this, but I didn't until 2 years ago. 30 million workers have to sign non-compete agreements for the jobs they take. 30 million. So a cashier at a burger place can't walk across town and take the same job at another burger place and make a few bucks more. It just changed. But they just changed it because we exposed it. That was part of the deal, guys. Look it up. But not anymore. We're banning those agreements so companies have to compete for workers and pay them what they're worth. And I must tell you, this is bound to get a response from my friends on my left but the right. I'm so sick and tired of companies breaking the law by preventing workers from organizing. Pass the PRO Act, because business have a right, workers have a right to form a union. And let's guarantee all workers have a living wage. Let's make sure working parents can afford to raise a family with sick days, paid family medical leave, affordable child care. That's going to enable millions of more people to go and stay at work. And let's restore the full child tax credit, which gave tens of millions of parents some breathing room and cut child poverty in half to the lowest level in history. And by the way, when we do all these things, we increase productivity. We increase economic growth. So let's finish the job and get more families access to affordable, quality housing. Let's get seniors who want to stay in their homes the care they need to do so. Let's give more breathing room to millions of family caregivers looking after their loved ones. Pass my plan so we get seniors and people with disabilities the home care and services they need. And support the workers who are doing God's work. These plans are fully paid for, and we can afford to do them. Restoring the dignity of work means making education an affordable ticket to the middle class. You know, when we made public education, 12 years of it universal in the last century, we made the best educated, best paid, we became the best educated, best paid nation in the world. But the rest of the world's caught up. It's caught up. Jill, my wife, who teaches full time, has an expression. I hope I get it right, kid. Any nation that out-educates us is going to out-compete us. Any nation that out-educates is going to out-compete us. Folks, we all know 12 years of education is not enough to win the economic competition of the 21st century. We want to have the best educated workforce. Let's finish the job by providing access to preschool for 3 and 4 years old. Studies show that children who go to preschool are nearly 50% more likely to finish high school and go on to earn a 2- or 4-year degree, no matter their background they came from. Let's give public school teachers a raise. We're making progress by reducing student debt, increasing Pell Grants for working and middle-class families. Let's finish the job and connect students to career opportunities starting in high school. Provide access to 2 years of community college, the best career training in America, in addition to being a pathway to a 4-year degree. Let's offer every American a path to a good career, whether they go to college or not. And folks, in the midst of the COVID crisis, when schools were closed and we were shutting down everything, let's recognize how far we came in the fight against the pandemic itself. While the virus is not gone, thanks to the resilience of the American people and the ingenuity of medicine, we've broken the COVID grip on us. COVID deaths are down by 90%. We've saved millions of lives and opened up our country, we opened our country back up, and soon we'll end the public health emergency. But that's called a public health emergency. But we'll remember the toll and pain that's never going to go away. More than 1 million Americans lost their lives to COVID. 1 million. Families grieving, children orphaned, empty chairs at the dining room table constantly reminding you that she used to sit there. Remembering them, we remain vigilant. We still need to monitor dozens of variants and support new vaccines and treatments. So Congress needs to fund these efforts and keep America safe. And as we emerge from this crisis stronger, we're also got to double down on prosecuting criminals who stole relief money meant to keep workers and small businesses afloat. Before I came to office, you remember, during that campaign, the big issue was about inspector generals who would protect taxpayers' dollars who were sidelined. They were fired. Many people said we don't need them. And fraud became rampant. Last year, I told you the watchdogs are back. Since then, we've recovered billions of taxpayers' dollars. Now let's triple the anti-fraud strike force going after these criminals, double the statute of limitations on these crimes, and crack down on identity fraud by criminal syndicates stealing billions of dollars from the American people. And the data shows that for every dollar we put into fighting fraud, the taxpayers get back at least 10 times as much. It matters. It matters. Look, COVID left its scars, like the spike in violent crime in 2020, the first year of the pandemic. We have an obligation to make sure all people are safe. Public safety depends on public trust, as all of us know. But too often that trust is violated. Joining us tonight are the parents of Tyree Nichols. Welcome. We had to bury Tyree last week. As many of you personally know, there's no words to describe the heartache or grief of losing a child. But imagine if you lost that child at the hands of the law. Imagine having to worry whether your son or daughter came home from walking down the street, or playing in the park, or just driving a car. Most of us in here have never had to have the talk that brown and black parents have had to have with their children. Bo, Hunter, Ashley, my children, I never had to have the talk with them. I never had to tell them if a police officer pulls you over, turn your interior lights on right away. Don't reach for your license. Keep your hands on the steering wheel. Imagine having to worry like that every single time your kid got in a car. Here's what Tyree's mother shared with me when I spoke to her. When I asked her how she finds the courage to carry on and speak out. With the faith of God, she said her son was, quote, a beautiful soul, and something good will come of this. Imagine how much courage and character that takes. It's up to us, to all of us. We all want the same thing. Neighborhoods free of violence. Law enforcement who earns the community's trust. Just as every cop, when they pin on that badge in the morning, has a right to be able to go home at night, so does everybody else out there. Our children have a right to come home safely. Equal protection under the law is a covenant we have with each other in America. We know police officers put their lives on the line every single night and day. And we know we ask them in many cases to do too much, to be counselors, social workers, psychologists, responding to drug overdoses, mental health crises, and so much more. In one sense, we ask much too much of them. I know most cops and their families are good, decent, honorable people, the vast majority. But they risk their lives every time they put that shield on. But what happened to Tyree in Memphis happens too often. We have to do better. Give law enforcement the real training they need. Hold them to higher standards. Help them succeed in keeping us safe. We also need more first responders and professionals to address the growing mental health, substance abuse challenges. More resources to reduce violent crime and gun crime. More community intervention programs. More investment in housing, education, and job training. All this can help prevent violence in the first place. And when police officers or police departments violate the public trust, they must be held accountable. With the support of the families of victims, civil rights groups, and law enforcement, I signed an executive order for all federal officers, banning chokeholds, restricting no-knock warrants, and other key elements of the George Floyd Act. Let's commit ourselves to make the words of Tyler's mom true. Something good must come from this. Something good. And all of us, folks, it's difficult, but it's simple. All of us in this chamber, we need to rise to this moment. We can't turn away. Let's do what we know in our hearts that we need to do. Let's come together to finish the job on police reform. Do something. Do something. That was the plea of parents who lost their children in Uvalde. I met with every one of them. Do something about gun violence. Thank God. Thank God we did. Passing the most sweeping gun safety law in 3 decades. That includes things like that the majority of responsible gun owners already support. Enhanced background checks for 18 to 21 years old. Red flag laws, keeping guns out of the hands of people who are a danger to themselves and others. But we know our work is not done. Joining us tonight is Brandon Say, a 26-year-old hero. Brandon put his college dreams on hold to be at his mom's side. His mom's side when she was dying from cancer. And Brandon now works at the dance studio started by his grandparents. And 2 weeks ago, during the Lunar New Year celebrations, he heard the studio door close, and he saw a man standing there pointing a semi-automatic pistol at him. He thought he was going to die, but he thought about the people inside. And in that instant, he found the courage to act and wrestled a semi-automatic pistol away from the gunman who had already killed 11 people in another dance studio. 11. He saved lives. It's time we do the same. Ban assault weapons now. Ban them now. Once and for all. I led the fight to do that in 1994. And in 10 years, that ban was law and mass shootings went down. After we let it expire in the Republican administration, mass shootings tripled. Let's finish the job and ban these assault weapons. And let's also come together on immigration. Make it a bipartisan issue once again. We know we now have a record number of personnel working to secure the border. arresting 8,000 human smugglers, seizing over 23,000 pounds of fentanyl in just the last several months. We've launched a new border plan last month. Unlawful migration from Cuba, Haiti, Nicaragua, and Venezuela has come down 97% as a consequence of that. But American border problems won't be fixed until Congress acts. If we don't pass my comprehensive immigration reform, at least pass my plan to provide the equipment and officers to secure the border. And a pathway to citizenship for dreamers, those on temporary status, farm workers, essential workers. Here in the People's House, it's our duty to protect all the people's rights and freedoms. Congress must restore the right and the Congress must restore the right that was taken away in Roe v. Wade and protect Roe v. Wade. Give every woman a consular right. The Vice President and I are doing everything to protect access to reproductive health care and safeguard patient safety. But already more than a dozen states are enforcing extreme abortion bans. Make no mistake about it. If Congress passes a national ban, I will veto it. But let's also pass the Bipartisan Equality Act to ensure LGBTQ Americans, especially transgender young people, can live with safety and dignity. Our strength is not just the example of our power, but the power of our example. Let's remember the world's watching. I spoke in this chamber 1 year ago, just days after Vladimir Putin unleashed his brutal attack against Ukraine. A murderous assault, evoking images of death and destruction Europe suffered in World War II. Putin's invasion has been a test for the ages, a test for America, a test for the world. Would we stand for the most basic of principles? Would we stand for sovereignty? Would we stand for the right of people to live free of tyranny? Would we stand for the defense of democracy? For such defense matters to us because it keeps peace and prevents open season on would-be aggressors and threatens our prosperity. 1 year later, we know the answer. Yes, we would, and we did. We did. And together, we did what America always does at our best. We led. We united NATO. We built a global coalition. We stood against Putin's aggression. We stood with the Ukrainian people. Tonight, we're once again joined by Ukraine's ambassador to the United States. She represents not just her nation, but the courage of her people. Our ambassador is here, united. We're united in our support of your country. Will you stand so we can all take a look at you? Thank you. Because we're going to stand with you as long as it takes. Our nation is working for more freedom, more dignity, more peace, not just in Europe, but everywhere. Before I came to office, the story was about how the People's Republic of China was increasing its power and America was failing in the world. Not anymore. We made clear, and I made clear in my personal conversations, which have been many, with President Xi, that we seek competition, not conflict. But I will make no apologies that we're investing to make America stronger, investing in American innovation and industries that will define the future that China intends to be dominating, investing in our alliances and working with our allies to protect advanced technologies so they will not be used against us, modernizing our military to safeguard stability and deter aggression. Today, we're in the strongest position in decades to compete with China or anyone else in the world. Anyone else in the world. And I'm committed. I'm committed to work with China where we can advance American interests and benefit the world. But make no mistake about it. As we made clear last week, if China threatens our sovereignty, we will act to protect our country, and we did. Look, let's be clear. Winning the competition should unite all of us. We face serious challenges across the world. But in the past 2 years, democracies have become stronger, not weaker. Autocracies have grown weaker, not stronger. Name me a world leader who changed places with Xi Jinping. Name me one. Name me one. America's rallying the world to meet those challenges, from climate to global health, to food insecurity, to terrorism, to territorial aggression. Allies are stepping up, spending more, and doing more. Look, the bridges we're forming between partners in the Pacific and those in the Atlantic, and those who bet against America are learning how wrong they are. It's never, ever been a good bet to bet against America. Never. Well, when I came to office, most assured that bipartisanship assumed was impossible, but never believed it. That's why a year ago I offered a unity agenda to the nation as I stood here. We made real progress together. We passed a law making it easy for doctors to prescribe effective treatments for opioid addiction. We passed the gun safety law, making historic investments in mental health. We launched the ARPA-H drive for breakthrough in the fights against cancer, Alzheimer's, and diabetes, and so much more. We passed the Heath Robinson PACT Act, named after the late Iraq War veteran whose story about exposure to toxic burn kits I shared here last year. I understand something about those burn pits, but there's so much more to do. We can do it together. Joining us tonight is a father named Doug from Newton, New Hampshire. He wrote Jill, my wife, a letter, and me as well, about his courageous daughter, Courtney. A contagious laugh, his sister's best friend, her sister's best friend. He shared a story all too familiar to millions of Americans and many of you in the audience. Courtney discovered pills in high school. It spiraled into addiction and eventually death from a fentanyl overdose. She was just 20 years old. Describing the last 8 years without her, Doug said, "There's no worse pain." Yet their family has turned pain to purpose, working to end the stigma and change laws. He told us he wants to start a journey toward American recovery. Doug, we're with you. Fentanyl is killing more than 70,000 Americans a year. Big, you got it. So let's launch a major surge to stop fentanyl production in the sale and trafficking, with more drug detection machines, inspection cargo, stop pills and powder at the border. Working with couriers like FedEx to inspect more packages for drugs. Strong penalties to crack down on fentanyl trafficking. Second, let's do more on mental health, especially for our children. When millions of young people are struggling with bullying, violence, trauma, we give them greater access to mental health care at their schools. We must finally hold social media companies accountable for experimenting they're doing running children for profit. It's time to pass bipartisan legislation to stop big tech from collecting personal data on our kids and teenagers online, ban targeted advertising to children, and impose stricter limits on the personal data that companies collect on all of us. Third, let's do more to keep this nation's truly sacred obligation to equip those we send into harm's way and care for them and their families when they come home. Job training, job placement for veterans and their spouses as they come to return to civilian life. Helping veterans afford the rent, because no one should be homeless in America, especially someone who served the country. Dennis McDonough is here of the VA. We had a first real discussion when I asked him to take the job. I'm glad he did. We were losing up to 25 veterans a day on suicide. Now we're losing 17 a day to the silent scourge of suicide. 17 veterans a day are committing suicide. More than all the people being killed in the wars. Folks, VA is doing everything it can, including expanding mental health screening, proven programs that recruits veterans to help other veterans understand what they're going through, get them the help they need. We got to do more. And fourth, last year, Jill and I reignited the cancer moonshot that I was able to start with President Obama asked me to lead our administration on this issue. Our goal is to cut the cancer death rates at least by 50% in the next 25 years. Turn more cancers from death sentences to treatable diseases. Provide more support for patients and their families. It's personal to so many of us in this audience. Joining us are Morris and Candice, an Irishman and a daughter of immigrants from Panama. They met and fell in love in New York City and got married in the same chapel Jill and I got married in New York City. Kindred spirits. He wrote us a letter about his little daughter, Ava, and I saw her just before I came over. She was just a year old when she was diagnosed with rare kidney disease, cancer. After 26 blood transfusions, 11 rounds of radiation, 8 rounds of chemo, 1 kidney removed, giving a 5% survival rate. He wrote how in the darkest moments he thought, if she goes, I can't stay. Many of you have been through that as well. Jill and I understand that like so many of you. And he read Jill's book describing our family's cancer journey and how we tried to steal moments of joy where we could with Bo. For them, that glimmer of joy was the half smile of their baby girl. It meant everything to them. They never gave up hope. Little Ava never gave up hope. She turns 4 next month. They just found out Ava's beating the odds, is on her way to being cured of cancer. And she's watching from the White House tonight if she's not asleep already. For the lives we can save, and the lives we've lost, let this be a truly American moment that rallies the country and the world together and proves that we can still do big things. 20 years ago, under the leadership of President Bush and countless advocates and champions, he undertook a bipartisan effort through PEPFAR to transform the global fight against HIV/AIDS. It's been a huge success. He thought big. He thought large. He moved. I believe we can do the same thing with cancer. Let's end cancer as we know it. Cure some cancers once and for all. Folks, there's one reason why we've been able to do all of these things. Our democracy itself. It's the most fundamental thing of all. With democracy, everything's possible. Without it, nothing is. For the last few years, our democracy has been threatened and attacked, put at risk, put to the test in this very room on January the 6th. And then just a few months ago, an unhinged big lie, assailant unleashed a political violence, the home of the then Speaker of the House of Representatives, using the very same language the insurrectionists used as they stalked these halls and chanted on January 6th. Here tonight in this chamber is a man who bears the scars of that brutal attack, but is as tough and as strong, as resilient as they get. My friend Paul Pelosi. Paul, stand up. But such a heinous act should have never happened. We must all speak out. There's no place for political violence in America. We have to protect the right to vote, not suppress the fundamental right. Honor the results of our elections, not subvert the will of the people. We have to uphold the rule of law and restore trust in our institutions of democracy. And we must give hate and extremism in any form no safe harbor. Democracy must not be a partisan issue. It's an American issue. Every generation of Americans has faced a moment where they have been called to protect our democracy, defend it, stand up for it. And this is our moment. My fellow Americans, we meet tonight at an inflection point, one of those moments that only a few generations ever face, where the direction we now take is going to decide the course of this nation for decades to come. We're not bystanders of history. We're not powerless before the forces that confront us. It's within our power of we, the people. We're facing the test of our time. We have to be the nation we've always been at our best, optimistic, hopeful, forward-looking. A nation that embraces light over dark, hope over fear, unity over division, stability over chaos. We have to see each other not as enemies, but as fellow Americans. We're good people. The only nation in the world built on an idea, the only one. Other nations are defined by geography, ethnicity, but we're the only nation based on an idea that all of us, every one of us, is created equal in the image of God. A nation that stands as a beacon of the world. A nation in a new age of possibilities. So I've come to fulfill my constitutional obligation to report in the State of the Union. And here's my report. Because the soul of this nation is strong, because the backbone of this nation is strong, because the people of this nation are strong, the State of the Union is strong. I'm not new to this place. I stand here tonight having served as long as about any one of you have ever served here. But I've never been more optimistic about our future, about the future of America. We just have to remember who we are. We're the United States of America, and there's nothing beyond our capacity if we do it together. God bless you all, and may God protect our troops. Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to mute it for a little bit because pretty soon we're going to hear the rebuttal from the Republicans. I think it's from Sarah Huckabee Sanders. Let me know what you guys thought about this speech, where you guys are watching from, either or. I was kind of surprised. Usually when a president loses the House, they're kind of more conciliatory. They try to do a bipartisan action like, hey, here's my hand, let's work on something. He kind of went on the warpath against Republicans, and there was bickering. You saw like the bickering between him and people on the Republican side. But it was definitely it was interesting. I didn't think he was going to be. I'm going to use the word hostile, but it's not like the hostile like you're thinking of. In terms of DC hostile. I thought he was going to be much more. Let's compromise and work on a deal. Not so much. I'm gonna Let's fight. I'm ready for a fight. So we're going to have to see how this is going to work out as far as Congress. But what this tells me basically as of now is Republicans aren't going to work with him. He's not going to work with Republicans. It seems like the heck was he? What the heck did he just do with that lady? That was freaky. What the heck was that? Hold on, I might have just been missing something. Hold on. I'll go to back to live in a second here. I thought he like put his hands around her neck. It freaked me out for a second. Because she took his hands off. Usually it's the woman taking the hands off that kind of draws my eye. Yeah, that was weird. Okay, confused me for a second. Sorry, I just looked really weird. I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think it was too hostile? Do you think it was just right? Or do you think it was great? I mean, you know, either or. I don't care. This is just my personal opinion. You guys can vary as much as you want to. I guess I was just more surprised about how he. I thought he was going to be more unifying. I guess that's about unifying. He really didn't try to unify too much. Maybe towards the end, right? But it definitely was it wasn't bad. I don't think it was a particularly good one, but I don't think it was bad by any stretch of the imagination here. Like if you're just some moderate dude watching at home, you know, president, I didn't feel emotional doing it. Like, you know, some people can have really good speeches and stuff like that. But I haven't felt emotional watching a politician speak in quite a bit of time, right? So, yeah, but let me know what you guys think. It's right here. Hey, Alex, he did. Yeah, I was very confused why he did that. It freaked me out for a second. Because she looked at the camera when it happened to make sure she like did the proper response for it. But yeah, that freaked me out for a second. And hey, GT, solid speech. Yeah, there you go. It's right there. That was good. God bless America. What's right here? Kind of awkward. Yeah, I mean, I thought it was. He's not a good speaker, right? He's not a good speaker, but I think he conveyed the message he wanted to get across. I was more confused about the message he was trying to get across, right? Why don't clerics ever clap for any president? They're just not supposed to. They're not supposed to. They don't want to be seen as partisan or siding with one statement or another. Think about like the justices. They can't clap as well. They can't clap unless it's something very, very, very generic. Like, you know, America is great. Clap. I want to raise taxes. They will not clap. I want to lower taxes. They will not clap. Make sense? A whole bunch of nothing getting done. Yeah. What this speech told me, guys, is nothing is getting done. Nothing is going to get done here. And on top of that, remember, everybody's still thinking there's a recession on the line. I'll turn up the volume a little bit so we can kind of hear some noise coming out. Just some like, you know, talking and whatnot. But it definitely showed to me that he's not going to want to compromise. The first test to see if he's going to be forced to compromise is, again, this big debt ceiling debate that's going to really kind of go on until the summer. It's about June. He says there's going to be no compromise on the debt ceiling, so he's not going to negotiate cutting wasteful spending at the government or the federal, bureaucracy level. He's not going to do any of that. He's only going to sign a clean bill to raise the debt limit. Republicans say, we're now the majority of the House. You have to compromise with us. At this point, Biden's saying no. Whoever wins that battle, it'll be a big strengthening point for their side going forward to the 2024 elections. We need to have an age limit for politicians. I mean, probably. I mean, I don't really like seeing very, very old people in office. I would say like a 60-year-old age limit is something I would personally like. But that's me. Oh, sorry, the volume got really turned up all of a sudden. I'll turn it down temporarily. But what do you call? So yeah, to me though, it just like, it was a good message to like, I didn't agree with the message, but I was like, hey, it's good. He conveyed it properly. A little bit tit for tat. Again, a little too hostile for me. But I'm kind of like, again, you could think of me, guys, I'm the old school type of guy. I want to see unifying what America can do together, not taking jabs at Republicans or Democrats, not taking jabs, basically, right? I don't like when Trump takes jabs at Democrats. I don't like when Democrats take jabs at Republicans. I just think events like this should be above such things, if that makes sense. But, I think I'm in an old era, right? Wasn't as bad as I thought. It came on strong with the medical. Yeah, I do like the fact that he is fixing the Congress, I guess I would say, is really doing a lot as far as healthcare is concerned. Insurance companies, I'd be okay if they got taxed more or if they got their prices capped, honestly. They make so much money, and I know people in the pharmaceutical industry that have told me some crazy stories. So it's like one of those things where like I know enough people where, yeah, I can do that. Heck, I just learned that while I'm going to Vegas next month, I'm going there because my friend is going there for some type of conference. I just learned that I got approved to go to said conference as well as a media member. So I'll be taking my camera, probably my stand. Yeah, I'll be taking my stand, I think. Maybe a cheaper one. I don't want to take my fancy stand down there. So I'll be going to a security conference. Should be pretty fun. And I'll be taking some video and some stuff, and I'll be probably looking to have some fun with it. I'm just wondering what about his talk about big tech would affect him. You know, I don't know. Like, as far as I'm concerned, I don't think necessarily that Facebook and Twitter and all these other companies were censoring Democrats because the government was like, hey, you have to do this, you have to do this. I think maybe the government was nudging them in that direction, right? The feds and stuff like that, nudging them. But I think where a lot of the social media bias comes into is because a lot of the people that work in these certain levels or certain areas of the companies really just have a very liberal bias. I have friends that work at Facebook and, you know, Amazon and stuff like that. I don't have one conservative friend that works at a tech company. Not one. They're all very, very liberal. I'm still really good friends with them. You know, it's not like we talk about politics and stuff like that. But, you know, I'm more of a moderate, if you will. Social, what do you call it? Liberal socially, conservative economically. And, you know, we all get together just fine. But, like, they tell me, yeah, like, if you ask them, like, hey, should this be censored, should it be not? They'll flat out say, yeah, like, Trump is a good guy. They should say, hey, I don't think that should get as many views because that could possibly start up another insurrection. Like, you know, now they don't have control of that type of stuff, obviously. But, you know, there are viewpoints like that in the corporations. I think that's what actually led to a lot of the bias that we've seen. Right now that bias is kind of set in, you know, I think it's going to be hard to kind of get it out of Facebook, even out of Twitter. I mean, honestly, even though Twitter's been bought, it's still out of there. Out of you know, Instagram, which is also part of Facebook, out of TikTok. It's just going to be hard, guys. It's not something that you can just snap off. But as far as data, there's nothing they can do, the government, to stop big tech from tracking you at this point. You're going to be using tech so much more in your life over the next like 10, 20 years. If they can't get it from you off your phone, they'll get it another way. They'll find a way because all of a sudden there'll be a monetary incentive to do so. And, you know, I've been to a few technology conferences and I'm going to the security one I told you about just a few seconds ago. They're already planning tracking software to track everybody like they do in England. So basically, you know, when there's like what do you call those? A mob goes after a Gucci store, steals everything and runs out. Well, now the cameras are going to be able to track them. This is in the future. Cameras are going to be able to track them all the way back to their house. And then the cops just go there, arrest them. Well, if the law says they can. But it's going to be some interesting stuff. Like the conference I'm going to, we'll get back to this in a second, I promise. Right now, we're just listening to them talk, and honestly, it's not too interesting, right? The conference I'm going to is this thing. I'm only going here because my friend has a booth, and so I'm going to Vegas, but I wasn't actually planning to go here. But from what I see, it looks like it's going to be a really fun event, and I'm going to have a lot of fun here. But it's called ICS West. It's the largest security industry trade show in the U.S. At ICS West, you will have a chance to network with over 30,000 security professionals through the new products and technology encompassing everything from access control to unmanned vehicles from over 1,000 exhibitors and brands. I'm really going after the drones in this little peak here. But it's going to be at the Venetian, same as the last conference I went to in October. So they have a massive area of multiple floors of convention centers, basically. So I'm going to have a lot of fun with this. I got to figure out how to log into my account and make sure everything's up and up, though. I don't know if they actually have other stuff here. Do they have, like, images or something? Yeah, I mean, like, oh, that's a really small picture. Oh, it's all really... This is the Venetian Convention Center. I remember this. This is they go over here. But, I mean, it's going to be a really fun... it's going to be a really fun time. So I'm not going to spend every single day there, honestly, because I do want to spend a little bit of time just having a vacation, which is the true purpose for being there. But while I'm there, I'm going to do some footage. I'm going to do some work there as well, and I think it'll be pretty fun. A lot of it will probably be by phone, and I'm going to take some videos on my phone and through the camera and maybe show you guys what the new security drones look like. They're going to be pretty cool. I've seen a little bit of a demo so far, and my gosh, like, the drones you see at Best Buy or even the custom ones you buy online, they're nothing compared to these top tier security drones. They have everything nowadays. I'm pretty sure we're going to use drones like the smaller drones, not like the big war drones. We're going to use them a lot in the military pretty soon. I'm really excited to see what happens with those. let's see over here very fast. Let me see if I can find them. Let's see over here. ICS West. People taking pictures. We should see pretty soon, guys. We should see the Republican response. That's what we're waiting for right now. We're not just waiting to see Joe Biden talk to people. As you know, if you liked his speech, awesome. If you didn't, awesome. It's fine. But we're not here to watch this. We're here to. Well, we were here to watch a speech, but now we're here to watch the Republican response. Again, I think it's Sarah Huckabee Sanders. Yeah, that's what I remember. Where's the show interest? Show info.
It was masterful. It's a legacy beyond belief. That's because of you. Mr. President, I just have to tell you, you got a bunch of crowds of Republicans want to shake your hand. I want to make sure Long Island, sir. Good to see you. Big Long Island. East End, Suffolk County, sir. Long Island. You ever been to Long Island? It's magnificent. I used to live in Garden City. Just a little bit west of me, sir, but you're welcome back anytime. All right, man. You got your money behind me? Yep. All good. Okay. I just want to make this point. This was a Bring It On speech. I'm going to run across America with this speech and this thing about American pride.
I don't know if you guys could hear it, but she said it was a primordial speech. I don't think it was that good, but it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad.
Because it's an opportunity. We're going to get it done. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your words. They speak exactly to my constituents in my district, and I know that they're really going to appreciate it.
What's your district include?
8th District of Colorado, goes northeast suburbs of Denver, and goes into Greeley, which is a rural community.
I'm just getting
Big and ag.
I'm getting this selfie, please. Then I get it.
There you go.
Oh, I'm bid to drive. You're embarrassing me.
He's trying to make me feel good. She erased it.
You like that they talked about mental illness? Mental illness is a really big thing these days. Age limit at the average retirement age? I think that'd be fine. I mean, I really do think as you get older, your cognitive abilities tend to decline. And then on top of that, I just don't think the older generations necessarily understand what the younger generations are living with. There are still tons of people out there that think you can go out of high school, get a job, and buy a house. There are still people that actually believe that. You can't buy a house in America right now with a high school degree. It's very, very hard. Maybe if you go to trade school, learn how to weld or something like that, that could be a little bit of a difference. But in certain areas, it's just very hard. Like, how much house can I afford? Let me see. How do I do this? Purchase. How do I do this?
You're good. Flip it around.
I know. Can I get a selfie? And I want you to be.
So here, well, they're still just talking, guys. They're still just having little chats. Up here in Seattle. All right. How do I do this? Down payment, that's fine, 30-year. How do I... So I can, well, if I'm working about minimum wage, let's say 20 bucks an hour. So let's do, that's not minimum wage, but let's say 20 times 160. So 20 times 160. Before taxes, I'm making about $3,200. You could probably only afford to spend around like $1,500 if you want to be responsible on a house. Let's just say $2,000 just in case. You could only really buy a $320,000 house if you really could, if you had a good credit score. Maybe if you're excellent, it's a little bit different. Now it went back to normal. But yeah, it's really hard, especially if you, because if you only make minimum wage, I think it's like $2,000, which means you can only really spend about. I'm thinking your proper budgeting here. But let's say you only wanted to have $500 extra in your wallet every month, and you could spend like $1,500. You could afford a $238,000 house, right? Go over here to Zillow very fast as we wait for Biden to finish up and wait for the lady to come out. Okay, let's go over to Seattle. Now, there's something here for $200,000. I guarantee it, but I don't know if it's worth it. That's the thing. A max of 200. There we go. Okay, there's actually nothing for $200,000 in here. Did I say 238? Let's move it up a little bit. 238,000. Remove boundary. There's something out here. There we go. Okay. So this is $100,000, but it looks like it's not close to any work spot. So you'd have to be working from home. This is in Olympia. It's 1,200 square feet, and oh, it's next to a park, but it's not. Doesn't own the park. It's a nice little house over there. So it's not actually by the city at all. I don't really like the house, but I like the idea of there being wood. So there are houses out here. Here's a little tree house. It's a 110 square feet house. Anybody wants 110 square feet?
Take care of mom and be patient with
you know?
Okay?
Wow, that's like a cabin pretty much, right? You're just buying that temporarily. 184,000. Again, nowhere. This is Black Diamond. Like this is here. There's Black Diamond. Oh yeah, way down here. Nobody's driving to work from that, so you know. You want to be able to live here and afford to go to work in Seattle. I think that's the point I'm trying to make. It's the affordability. Life is just not affordable at this point in time. And hey, Joseph, hey, you did miss the Democratic speech. You can always rewind it a little bit more. We're waiting for the the Republican rebuttal by Sarah Huckabee Sanders. And hey, Elijah, happy to see you back, man. Pre-crime, can the government arrest you for a crime you have not committed yet? They can't do that. I'd feel kind of scared if they had that ability to do it.
No, and I'll let them know to take it easy.
Mr. President, we're ready to help you finish the job.
We're ready to try to finish.
And hey, GT, did you hear Jerome Powell right today when he said he couldn't come to the rescue if things go bad again? I didn't hear that today. I didn't watch his entire speech. What I'm assuming he's saying, though, is if the economy starts to go downward because we're fighting inflation, and inflation is the most important battle, if the economy goes down, he can't cut rates. He has to keep rates where they are and let the economy suffer for a while, and that should thereby help inflation go down. If he is forced to cut rates this year, that means the economy, something really, really bad happened to the economy. Therefore, he really had to cut rates. Like, he's not going to cut rates unless something really, really bad happens to the economy. But if something really, really bad happens to the economy, the stock market would obviously just be... And it's not like the economy just goes down and up like that, like with COVID. It doesn't happen like that. We're kind of going to... Remember 2008 financial crisis? 2009 sucked. 2009, we had riots under Obama. 2010, we had another riots over healthcare. And then, 11, things were still pretty bad. 2012, things were getting a little bit better. They started to pump money into the economy like crazy. Things got much better in 2013, 2014, 2015. When Trump came in 2016, he rode the back of the wave that Obama sent a lot of the jobs from America over to China, and a lot of people were very upset with that. It's not like he just sent them over there, but the policies made it better, right?
For what purpose does the gentleman from Louisiana
they're ending up here. I'm just gonna turn that off. They're just formally closing up everything. But basically, they had to inject a lot of money into the economy to get it running up again. We can't inject money into the economy this time because we're literally battling inflation. It's just going to be absolutely wild. Let me get out of this very fast. So basically, I'll keep an eye on this for a second. We'll go back over here to look at Bitcoin and see what Bitcoin was up to this entire time. This is a 10-second chart. Let's just go to an hourly chart because that's pretty much just what happened. Not much. We went down a little bit during his speech. It's not the end of the world. It's not like a bad thing happened here. But, it's... let me put this back on play. Here we go. Live. And let's go over to... How do I go over here very fast? I want to make sure I have the Republican rebuttal ready for you guys when it does come. Here's one. And it happens at it was scheduled to happen at 7:30, I guess. So that was 13 minutes ago my time. So we should be able to see what when it does happen, I'll keep you guys aware. But so far we can chill and watch Bitcoin, right? Nothing too crazy there. Mike, I mean, those same biscuits you got at the moment, very good. You made me crave it. Dude, they're so great. I don't even know how much they cost. I got them as a gift because I told a friend I really liked them. He's like, oh, dude, I got you. We were talking about flights and stuff like that. What a Biscoff. Biscoff, Amazon. There you go. Yeah, these things. So they're like $5 a pack. $5 a pack. Doesn't seem too unrealistic. And these are like, these are pretty big packs. These are what size are these? Oh snap. Oh yeah, the 8.8 ounces. These are 8.8 ounces, yeah. So they're about like, $5.50 a pop. Not bad at all. I like them a lot. They just taste really good. I fell in love with them while I, go on my airplane trips and stuff like that. Very, very good though. I won't eat any now because I'm talking with you guys. That'd be rude. But while the speech was going on, I was getting kind of bored. Again, I was hoping for something more unified, like in a movie or something. But it was definitely well, no, it wasn't even that. As basically, I got that email to go to the ICS West here. Like they're gonna have all the robotics and everything here, which I'm so excited about. I'm gonna have to figure out if they have a back. There's some type of portal I can go to. I'm sure, where I can learn more information about stuff and see if I can have any one-on-one meetings. Just to see what's going on as far as all this stuff is concerned. But yeah, I got myself a media badge, so I'm getting hooked up, and it's complimentary, so I don't have to pay the fee. Which I don't even actually know what the fee is. How much was the fee for this thing if I wanted to pay out of pocket? Register. Full day, 3-day pay. Yeah, it's after February 9th, so I would have bought it. Yeah, March, so it'd have been around like $1,000, but I guess right now, $925. That's a lot. So what I get as the media is I get all 3 days plus exhibit hall stuff plus a media room with Wi-Fi, so I can chill out there a little bit and have some fun, right? But yeah, so it'll be pretty fun. But okay, for attendees, I just want to see the exhibit list here. View exhibit list. .3S systems technology, security hardware, software, AA Eon Electronics, ABB. I don't know who all these companies are, but basically a lot of stuff here that I'm going to be looking forward to. I'm going to go learn about all the companies. ADI, something you guys know. ADT, something you guys know. ADT Security, probably having a separate booth. But I'm interested to see what these guys have to do, and what security is. How security is evolving these days. Drones and robotics. You can see there's 26 right here. I really want to see these types of things. Premium. Oh, premium. Okay. Oh, how do I? Hold on. Arcadia. I just want to find the main website. Oh, snap. Plug and play smart video security monitoring as a service. 3,000 camera models. Oh, yeah, we are exhibiting ICS West Expo. Oh. I'm going to do some networking here for sure. Oh, for vaults. Oh, they're the big dog security cameras. These guys must go in banks and all the other stuff, the important places. They're probably looking for a military contract or a large contract there. Wow. AI machine learning for enterprise, for business. Yeah, jeez. Monitoring, automation, sound analytics. What the? Our built-in machine learning also enables advanced features such as search and live, object detection, people count, and motion detection, allowing for easy scalability and integration with other security systems. Our modern solution eliminates the need. Oh, hold on, guys. Let's go over here. Wait. There we go.
So forgive me for not believing much of anything I heard tonight from President Biden. From out of control inflation and violent crime to the dangerous border crisis and threat from China. Biden and the Democrats have failed you. They know it, and you know it. And it's time for a change. Tonight, let us reaffirm our commitment to a timeless American idea that government exists not to rule the people, but to serve the people. Democrats want to rule us with more government control, but that's not who we are. America is the greatest country the world has ever known because we're the freest country the world has ever known, with a people who are strong and resilient. 5 months ago, I was diagnosed with thyroid cancer. It was a hard time for our family, particularly our kids, Scarlett, Huck, and George. But we kept our faith and persevered. Thanks to exceptional doctors here in Arkansas, a successful surgery, and the grace of God, I am cancer-free. Through it all, I couldn't help but think about my mom. She was 20 years old and in her first year of marriage when she was diagnosed with spinal cancer. The doctors told her she might not live, and if she did live, they said she'd never walk again. And if she did walk, she'd definitely never have children. The daughter she was told she'd never have was just sworn in as the new governor of Arkansas and is speaking to you tonight. Adversity and fear of the unknown can paralyze us, but faith propels us to charge boldly ahead. We can't stand still in the face of great challenges. You and I were put on this earth for such a time as this, to charge boldly ahead. I'll be the first to admit, President Biden and I don't have a lot in common. I'm for freedom, he's for government control. At 40, I'm the youngest governor in the country. And at 80, he's the oldest president in American history. I'm the first woman to lead my state, and he's the first man to surrender his presidency to a woke mob that can't even tell you what a woman is. In the radical left's America, Washington taxes you and lights your hard-earned money on fire. But you get crushed with high gas prices, empty grocery shelves, and our children are taught to hate one another on account of their race, but not to love one another or our great country. Whether Joe Biden believes this madness or is simply too weak to resist it, his administration has been completely hijacked by the radical left. The dividing line in America is no longer between right or left. The choice is between normal or crazy. It's time for a new generation of Republican leadership. Upon taking office just a few weeks ago, I signed executive orders to ban CRT, racism, and indoctrination in our schools, eliminate the use of derogatory term Latinx in our government, repealed COVID orders, and said never again to authoritarian mandates and shutdowns. Americans want common sense from their leaders, but in Washington, the Biden administration is doubling down on crazy. President Biden inherited the fastest economic recovery on record, the most secure border in history, cheap, abundant, homegrown energy, fast rising wages, a rebuilt military, and a world that was stable and at peace. But over the last 2 years, Democrats destroyed it all. Despite Democrats' trillions in reckless spending and mountains of debt, we now have the worst border crisis in American history. As a mom, my heart breaks for every parent who has lost a son or daughter to addiction. 100,000 Americans a year are now killed from drug overdoses, largely from fentanyl pouring across our southern border. Yet the Biden administration refuses to secure the border and save American lives. And after years of Democrat attacks on law enforcement and calls to defund the police, violent criminals roam free, while law-abiding families live in fear. Beyond our border, from Afghanistan to Ukraine, from North Korea to Iran, President Biden's weakness puts our nation and the world at risk. And the president's refusal to stand up to China, our most formidable adversary, is dangerous and unacceptable. President Biden is unwilling to defend our border, defend our skies, and defend our people. He is simply unfit to serve as commander-in-chief. And while you reap the consequences of their failures, the Biden administration seems more interested in woke fantasies than the hard reality Americans face every day. Most Americans simply want to live their lives in freedom and peace. But we are under attack in a left-wing culture war we didn't start and never wanted to fight. Every day we are told we must partake in their rituals, salute their flags, and worship their false idols, all while big government colludes with big tech to strip away the most American thing there is, your freedom of speech. That's not normal. It's crazy, and it's wrong. Make no mistake, Republicans will not surrender this fight. We will lead with courage and do what's right, not what's politically correct or convenient. Republicans believe in an America where strong families thrive in safe communities, where jobs are abundant and paychecks are rising, where the freedom our veterans shed their blood to defend is the birthright of every man, woman, and child. These are the principles Republican governors are fighting for, and in Washington, under the leadership of Senate Republicans and Speaker Kevin McCarthy, we will hold the Biden administration accountable. Down the street from where I sit is my alma mater, Little Rock Central High. As a student there, I will never forget watching my dad, Governor Mike Huckabee, and President Bill Clinton hold the doors open to the Little Rock Nine. Doors that 40 years earlier had been closed to them because they were Black. Today, those children once barred from the schoolhouse are now heroes memorialized in bronze at our State House. I'm proud of the progress our country has made, and I believe giving every child access to a quality education, regardless of their race or income, is the civil rights issue of our day. Tomorrow, I will unveil an education package that will be the most far-reaching, bold, conservative education reform in the country. My plan empowers parents with real choices, improves literacy and career readiness, and helps put a good teacher in every classroom by increasing their starting salary from one of the lowest to one of the highest in the nation. Here in Arkansas and across America, Republicans are working to end the policy of trapping kids in failing schools and sentencing them to a lifetime of poverty. We will educate, not indoctrinate our kids, and put students on a path to success. It's time for a new generation to lead. This is our moment. This is our opportunity. A new generation born in the waning decades of the last century, shaped by economic booms and stock market busts, forged by the triumph of the Cold War and the tragedy of 9/11. A generation brimming with passion and new ideas to solve age-old problems. A generation moored to our deepest values and oldest traditions, yet unafraid to challenge the present order and find a better way forward. If we seize this moment together, America can once again be the land of the free and the home of the brave. During my 2.5 years at the White House, I traveled on every foreign trip with the president. A trip I will never forget was on December 25th of 2018. My husband Brian and I had just cleaned up wrapping paper that was shoved into every corner of our house, thanks to our 3 kids. When I had to walk out on my own family's Christmas, unable to tell them where I was going that night, because the place I'd be traveling was so dangerous, they didn't want anybody to know. that the president was going to be on the ground even for a few hours. We boarded Air Force One in complete and total darkness. There were no lights on the plane, no lights on the runway. Our phones and computers shut down and turned in. We were going completely off the grid. Nearly 12 hours later, in the pitch black of night, we landed in the war-torn part of Western Iraq. It was again a similar scene. No lights on the plane, no lights on the runway. The only thing you could see was coming from about a mile away in a dining hall where hundreds of troops who were in the fight against ISIS had gathered expecting to celebrate Christmas with senior military leadership from around the region. They had absolutely no idea that the president and first lady were about to walk into that room. And when they did, it was a sight and a scene and a sound I hope I never forget. The room erupted. Men and women from every race, religion, and region, every political party, every demographic you can imagine, started chanting in perfect unison over and over and over again, USA, USA, USA. It was an absolutely perfect picture of what makes our country great. One of the young soldiers yelled from the back, "Mr. President, I re-enlisted in the military because of you." And the president said, "And son, I'm here because of you." Shortly after, that young soldier came up to me. He said, "Sarah, you have a tough job." I told him, "What I do is nothing. You take bombs and bullets. That's a tough job." And in a moment that I know I'll cherish for the rest of my life, that soldier reached up and he pulled the Brave Rifles patch he wore on his shoulder, and he placed it into my hand, a sign of ultimate respect. And he said, "Sarah, we are in this together." Overwhelmed with emotion and speechless, I just hugged him with tears in my eyes and a grateful heart for our heroes who keep us free. That young man and everyone who has served before him, all of those who serve alongside him, and the thousands we know who will be called upon to serve after him, deserve to know they have a country and a community back home doing our part in the fight for freedom. America is great because we are free. But today, our freedom is under attack, and the America we love is in danger. President Biden and the Democrats have failed you, and it's time for a change. A new generation of Republican leaders are stepping up, not to be caretakers of the status quo, but to be change makers for the American people. We know not what the future holds, but we know who holds the future in his hands. And with God as our witness, we will show the world that America is still the place where freedom reigns and liberty will never die. Thank you. God bless you, and God bless America.
And there, Governor Huckabee.
All right, let's move back over to the good Bitcoin for a second. I'm about to hop off the stream here in a few seconds. I just wanted to get everything back up and running on my end here. Let's make this move over here. Let's take that back up over there and slightly down. There we go. All right. Her speech was just like divisive like Joe Biden's. What the heck? I mean, I guess the minority or the rebuttal usually does get more divisive. But boy, oh boy, was that, she went all in. She was much more aggressive than Joe Biden. Overall, it was an okay speech, same as Joe Biden. Okay. I didn't like the fact that the room that they had a weird echo into it. I didn't like that at all. That's just me being nitpicky. I feel like she should have maybe been a little bit softer in the tones of how she was speaking, because I feel like a lot of moderates probably got turned off by it and just like decided to stop watching it. At the end, it was kind of nice to hear the story about them going off to visit the troops. I like that a lot. I see the news every now and again of maybe Biden or Trump, back in the day, going over to the Middle East and kind of surprising the troops. I have to say, from the footage that I've seen in the past, Trump is definitely more beloved by the army than Biden is. But again, this kind of just shows me that, there's going to be some bipartisan bills that really don't have an effect on your day-to-day life, but those big mega bills that each side is really trying to push, they're not going to go anywhere. They're just not going to go anywhere at this point. Immigration, not going to happen. Taxes, not going to happen. So, it'll be interesting to see what goes down. But at this point, yeah, we're at each other's throats as far as the rebuttal in the State of the Union. Because, Joe Biden's not really unifying at this point, and Sarah Huckabee Sanders definitely not unifying at this point. Everybody's gearing up for battle, and maybe that's because the battle is going to be over the debt ceiling, but it seems like everybody's gearing up for a fight, and it'll be interesting to watch, that's for sure. But, it remains to be seen what happens as the economy continues to get weaker and weaker and weaker over the next few months. What do you call it? Hey, Ken, she's boring too. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. What do you call? I don't know. I just like the echo too much, but I don't know. I just, she did feel a little political as far as like maybe she wants to run, but I think she'd want it. I don't think she'll run in 2024. I think she'll run in 2028 or something like that. Because honestly, I believe her dad is actually going to run in 2024. But yeah, I'm curious to see how all of it kind of goes down. But I just don't see much getting done. And when nothing much gets done, typically the market does okay in gridlock. But everyday people, we kind of want to see stuff happen for us, and it doesn't seem like anything's going to happen because of that inability to compromise. And then when stuff does get pushed through, it's usually not what the politicians say it is, right? So we'll have to wait it out to see what happens. But, there'll be some bipartisan stuff coming down the road, just not any big bipartisan packages, especially because give it a few months, everybody's going to be talking about the debt ceiling. After the debt ceiling, everybody has to start talking about 2024. And, once these politicians start getting on the road, you got to vote for me, give me money, give me money. All you're going to hear for a while is give me money, give me money, give me money. Please give me money so I can do something for you. Even though the money I gave them before somehow didn't come back to trickle down to me, right? It's a trickle-down economics political edition, right? The politicians are supposed to trickle down wealth from the government, and it just doesn't seem to work that way. But yeah, so we'll see how everything goes, everybody. I think both speeches were worth listening to at least. I think I didn't really care too much for either one of them, but I'm not going to say either one was necessarily just bad or horrible. They were just meh to me, just meh. I didn't feel inspired by anything. Both didn't really seem to be amazing speakers, and I was surprised that they put Huckabee Sanders out there. When I thought she could speak better than that. So it'll be interesting. She was sharp with her points, though. Maybe said radical left a couple too many times. But I don't think that was a huge thing. But yeah, we'll see how everything goes, everybody. It was really nice talking with you guys tonight, and I'll see you guys tomorrow around 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock. And I'll be posting a couple of videos tomorrow as well as far as some new indicators, okay? So have a great night, everybody. And guys, relax. The government's going to do government things, but